say the color black without walking on eggshells.
I say hold up, got my glizzy, bang bang. I say hold up, got my glizzy, bang bang.
You're tuned into Foolery. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And consider donating with super chats, stickers, memberships, or you can even gift memberships to other chatters. Or use the tips link in the description to write a message for TTS that will be read on stream.
Hit the like button, or you ain't black. And that's a fact. Jack.
Enjoy the show.
Yo, what up, fools? Today is 4/4/2026. It is 11:36 p.m. Eastern time. Wasn't gonna get on today, but decided to hop on for a little bit. Cover some news, and then I'll head out fairly early. But what up, Zach? How's it going, homie? What it do, baby girl? What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb and climbing the freeze and a man on the ocean, yeah. I ain't feeling like an astronaut in the ocean, yeah. What you know about rolling down in the deep? All right. Are phone calls open? You know what? Why not? Why not? Uh, oh, 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 oh. There we go. All right. I'm still setting up my stream a little bit, but you can call whenever you're ready.
Call from
William.
What was the name? Did anybody catch that? Aweo?
William? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hey, you're on the Tom Foolery show. What was your name again?
William?
William. Okay, okay. How's it going, William?
It's going well.
What can I do for you?
Is this like a debate show where like I call in and like I debate?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, are you what side of the political aisle are you on?
I'm on a liberal political aisle.
Oh, you're a liberal, that's cool. We're all Americans at the end of the day. So I'm a Republican and I would say like I'm a partial Trump supporter. Like I'm not like sucking his dick, like agreeing with everything he does, but I agree with some things.
I mean, I feel like that's what everybody says. Nobody agrees with everything that everybody does, but what is did you vote for Trump?
Yeah.
And why did you vote for Trump?
I voted for Trump because I thought he was like the better option.
On
Hello?
like you
Uh,
just thought he was the lesser of two evils. Like what are some things that you thought he was going to be better than Kamala at?
well, I mean, I don't like funding the war in Ukraine. I mean, like, why should we fund foreign wars? So I didn't, and Kamala wanted to keep funding Ukraine because Biden,
Were
because
you in
I'm afraid
favor of
don't.
funding Israel Palestine?
No, I don't think we should fund Israel. I don't like Israel or Palestine.
Trump was it made more sense to fund Ukraine than it did to fund Israel. Israel is like more than capable of taking care of their own war, whereas Ukraine isn't. The United States kind of encouraged Ukraine to move in the directions that they were moving that possibly led to them getting attacked by Russia in the first place. So it makes sense that the United States and all of the other Western countries that have a vested interest in Ukraine moving away from Russia would all kind of support Ukraine in that fight, make it to where they're not another satellite state of Russia. Whereas in the Israel-Palestine war, there's no fucking shot that Gaza or Hamas like ends up taking over Israel. There's no fucking chance of that happening. We could have
Well, I'm a,
called off
well,
all funding of Israel and still would have been fine.
I'm against the war in Ukraine because my grandpa and great grandfather fought in Korea and Vietnam to fight off communism. And Korea, yeah, there's kind of more of a point to it, but Vietnam, there was basically no point to it. It was just sending guys into the jungle to be maimed or worse. So, I'm just against like all foreign wars. It's like unless someone directly attacks the United States, we should not fund or do anything against other people. It's like if like a terrorist captured an American citizen, yeah, we have to go save the citizen. Or if they attack us,
What
yeah, we have
about
to go
Iran?
Iran. I'm kind of like against that, because I don't know about the preemptive stuff, but I mean, it's like the thing is, we have freedom of speech in this country, and it's like the Iranians were chanting death to America, and like in America, we could say death to America. So, I mean, like, I'm not like against like the like I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't do this stuff in Iran. I don't know.
So you're saying that you voted for Trump because you're against funding foreign wars, but you voted for the
Okay.
guy who was more likely to continue funding Israel and has now even gone to war with Iran, uh,
Well,
in
I mean,
large
like,
part to help Israel. And do you think your vote has panned out the way that you hoped it would?
like sort of because it's like I agree with some of the immigration stuff, but like on the topic of foreign policy with like the wars, like no, not really. Like he's been doing okay with ending some conflicts, low intensity conflicts, but he hasn't been doing great with like the high intensity ones.
I don't know what I don't know that he's ended many conflicts. Like Biden was the one who got the initial ceasefire for Israel Palestine. I suppose that was after Donald Trump had already been elected, so you weren't really capable of taking that into consideration at the time of the vote. But if you're still somehow happy with your vote, when it seems as though Donald Trump hasn't done any of the things that the people who elected him to do, like I don't know what.
He's done like some things like deporting illegal immigrants.
Sure, but everybody deports illegal immigrants. That wasn't something that was specific to Donald Trump. Joe Biden had the record on 4-year
Then
deportations.
why did so many come in under Joe Biden?
There was a influx of immigration at the border for a bunch of reasons. One was because of the amount
Mhm.
of inflation throughout the whole world after COVID. Some of it was because there were, well, I mean, prices were up across the board for pretty much everything, but including oil. And then there was also a bunch of Republicans running around saying that we had open borders. And so it sounded like if I was an immigrant and I've got a bunch of people telling me that the borders are open at the United States, that I would continue flooding over there.
Yeah, but it's like, why didn't we just like put like border patrol or whatever, some sort of force
They
to like guard the border?
they tried. Democrats went to Congress
They
numerous
tried, but they
times
didn't
to
do
try to
it.
get them. Yes, correct. Democrats went to Congress numerous times to ask them to put more troops at the border, and the Republicans are the ones who voted it down
Why would they vote it down and now just be on deporting legal immigrants? That makes no sense. Our
because they
tar.
wanted to win the election.
Oh,
They wanted to be able to complain and convince people like you that Democrats weren't willing to take care of the border, and hope that you would just never look into it yourself and actually see that it was the Republicans who voted against the border bill.
are you calling me a retard?
No, you just called me an artard.
Bro, you just insinuated people like me. Are you targeting my race, sexuality, ethnicity?
Yes, deal with it.
Dude, that's like not cool, dude. Why?
Well, just don't be retarded.
Dude, saying a slur in the Big 26, that's not cool.
Well, don't be fucking retarded
Bro, be quiet,
by
you
race or
cracker.
sexuality.
White people like you are the scourge of the earth. Y'all
Yeah,
burn, inshallah. Y'all are
you're
forever.
Asian, aren't you? I can tell by
I'm
your
a,
soft, feminine voice.
what?
You heard me.
I
Are
didn't hear
you a
you.
lady boy?
Am I a lady boy?
You're a lady boy, aren't you?
Your address is 451-372.
I literally have no idea what he said again. The motherfucker gets way too far into the mic, dude. Can't tell what he's saying.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth fired the U.S. Army Chief of Staff, General Randy George, and 2 other top Army generals on Thursday. Dismissals that come as the U.S. appears poised to intensify strikes, and the Pentagon is weighing a potential ground invasion in Iran. In a post, Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell framed General George's firing as a...
That dude was Asian. That dude was fucking Asian. All right, let's all go ahead and shower me. I fucking called it. I fucking called it, okay? That motherfucker was Asian.
Retirement, effective immediately. A U.S. official told CNN that senior Army leadership had been caught off guard. Quote, it doesn't...
I think he said 6'7", probably. That's probably what he said. He sounded really young. 6'7". That's probably what it is.
Feel like a very thought out decision, unquote. Now, I have been personally covering General Randy George's career for about 15 years. I wrote a book in 2012 about the ill-fated combat outpost Keating, which had been, in 2006, placed in a dangerous position in Afghanistan. Then Colonel Randy George and his Lieutenant Colonel Brad Brown tried to shut down that outpost in 2008 because of the precarious position it was in, although their warnings were not heeded with any urgency. And then Cop Keating was devastatingly attacked in 2009.
Wait a second. Hold on. Hold on a second. I think I recognize that voice. Hold on a cotton picking second. I'm fairly certain I recognize that voice.
You're crazy. Trump is gonna win. Don't. Trump is gonna win. He's a good guy. You know.
That's him.
Bud sucks.
These are voicemails that he left almost 2 years ago. This is another one right here.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Trump is gonna win. You hero supporter.
We used to play this sound over and over, dude.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Trump is gonna win. You hero supporter.
I remember his voice. I was surprised he pretended not to know you. That's fucking great, dude. That's so... I like, just out of nowhere, I was like, wait a second. I know this fucking voice, dude. I know this voice. Twink as fuck, yeah. Yep, that's a lady boy. There was another one in there.
Hey, Tom Foolery. I was just calling to see if you would be willing to chat again. You got a bunch of faggot pussies in your goddamn chat moderating, banning people for using too many capital letters like good communists would do. So when you're ready to have a fucking intellectual...
He was mad at the fucking bot, dude. The bot kept timing him out because he kept using too many caps.
conversation, please let me call in the show. I would love to debate you and your faggot friend Destiny, you fucking quiz.
The transcript for this says, you effing quiz. W commie mods, yep. Fucking commie mods, dude. Damn. That's rough. That's rough, bruh.
Those who know General Randy George consider him to be well respected, smart, strategic, someone who acts with the best interests of his service members and the United States at the top of his mind. His dismissal, along with that of Chief of Chaplains Major General William Green Jr. and Commander of Army Transformation and Training Command General David Hodney, are just the latest in a string of abrupt firings that Hegseth has carried out inside the Pentagon since he took office. Hegseth has fired more than a dozen senior military officers over the last year. In fact, he's almost completely remade the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Just 2 officials remain from before President Trump took office. Marine Corps Commandant General Eric Smith and Chief of Space Operations General B. Chance Saltzman. Now, you might have noticed if you look at that photo, Hegseth's version of the Joint Chiefs, those are entirely white men, despite the fact that as of 2024, nearly 33% of active duty service members are of color and nearly 18% are women. Hegseth made it quite clear that that type of representation in the top ranks does not matter to him.
The era of DEI is gone at the Defense Department, and we need the best and brightest. Physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. We're reviving the warrior ethos. We're eliminating the distractions and the debris. No more DEI.
2 of the first leaders Hegseth let go were former Joint Chiefs Chair General C.Q. Brown, the second black officer to hold that post, and Chief of Naval Operations Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to lead the U.S. Navy. Just last week, the New York Times reported that in an extraordinarily rare move, Hegseth was actively blocking the promotions of 4 Army officers. Officials saying 2 of the officers are black, 2 of them are women. Parnell defended the promotion process to the New York Times as apolitical and unbiased, unquote. The New York Times reports that Army Secretary Dan Driscoll repeatedly refused to let Hegseth strike those officers' names from the promotion list. Officials told the Times that Driscoll took heat from Hegseth's Chief of Staff, the controversial Ricky Berea, for promoting Major General Antoinette Gant to command the military district of Washington. The Times reporting, quote, Mr. Berea told Mr. Driscoll that President Trump would not want to stand next to a black female officer at military events, the official said, unquote. Berea denies that story. Driscoll is someone Hegseth perceives as a threat, sources tell CNN. Unsurprisingly, he has worked closely with the now retired General Randy George. Hegseth's firing sprees targeting women, targeting people of color, or even just those he feels personally threatened by. This all comes as the U.S. is weighing a further escalation in the already unpopular war in Iran, a ground invasion that could potentially risk the lives of thousands of troops, which only 11% of U.S. adults polled by CNN support.
Fuck you. Stupid slither bitch. You fucking stupid fucking. I'll kill you.
Support. In that same poll, incidentally, Secretary Hegseth himself is registering at a 35% approval rating, with 65% of the American people disapproving. And now, without the guidance of tenured military officials who have served for decades honorably, that guidance, because Secretary Hegseth is either dismissed or hamstrung for reasons that remain unclear to even top military officers, now the Trump administration is scrambling to prove to the American people that there is a clear plan for the war in Iran and that it's worth the costs of thousands of U.S. troops that they're putting in harm's way. Let's bring in Washington Post reporter Dan Lamont, who covers the Pentagon and the military, has broken a lot of these stories. Dan, can you put in perspective what the firing of General Randy George will mean for the leadership of the Pentagon right now?
Yeah, I mean, Randy George has been in the Army for more than 40 yees. I met him just maybe a year or 2 after you did, when he was a 1-star general at the Army War College in Pennsylvania. He's a thoughtful guy. I honestly have no idea which party he would belong to politically. He kind of adheres to that old school nonpartisan sort of idea that you would hope for in your generals.
So a source familiar with what happened tells me that this was the firing was entirely about these promotions and personnel matters. That's the reason, and that General George requested a meeting with Hegseth. Hegseth refused to give it to him, and they fired him and leaked it to the media at the same time. What's going on here? Why would Hegseth do this?
Hegseth is obviously playing politics. It's weird as fuck, dude. This is like what we all, you know, came to expect from the Trump administration when they came in and they were giving everybody loyalty tests and shit like that. We knew that this was all just gonna become a big circle jerk contest. Who can circle jerk the best? I can jerk in circles better than you.
I think this is a significant final data point in sort of the Randy George Army saga under Hegseth. I do think it's more complex than it being just about this event. My own reporting would suggest that there's been sort of this churn on this. How long will Randy George last? Whether or not Randy George is acceptable to Hegseth, really going back many months. And that Dan Driscoll, who had really kind of hit a good teamwork kind of vibe with the general, really did like him, really did want to keep him, and was increasingly frustrated trying to make the case to Secretary Hegseth. What was the issue beyond the issue of personnel and promotions? What are the other issues? I mean, I think some of it is the senior Pentagon staff right now. There are people who literally are combing through biographies, combing through past testimony, looking for what they said on diversity 3, 5, 7 years ago, and kind of building a dossier of sorts, trying to assemble who kind of fits the mold they're looking for. Randy George had served under the Biden administration. Randy George specifically had been a senior military assistant.
Yeah, that's how you know he's not a real patriot. Oh!
To Lloyd Austin, Biden's defense secretary, and in testimony, when asked candid questions, he was in favor of diversity as part of a broader effort to have unit cohesion in the Army. There are thousands of troops deployed to the military.
What up, Pepe? What it do? Hey, Pepe, what do you know about going down in the deep? Like when your brain goes numb. And they call that mental freeze.
Middle East right now, as we all wait to see if the U.S. is going to commence with a ground operation in Iran. Is there a sense that there's any confidence that give us the sense of confidence in Hegseth's leadership among those who are directly impacted in the U.S. military?
I think it's pretty divided. I don't think by any means it's universally against. There are people who really kind of buy into his lethality rhetoric, but there is significant concern that he's perhaps not fully appreciating the gravity of this situation, particularly when you look at things today, like the pilot down on the ground. This is something that was a foreseeable circumstance in a serious campaign with numerous aircraft up against a country that also has anti-aircraft.
Dan Lamont, The Washington Post. Thank you so much. Good to have you, sir.
There is rarely a good time to do a shakeup in the military. And now Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has pushed out 3 generals during wartime. First, U.S. Army Chief of Staff General Randy George was ordered to retire.
Yeah, there's never a good time, but there is probably a worst time ever. There's probably a, just the worst possible time possible. The worst possible time possible. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Yesterday, and now we've learned 2 more generals have been forced out. Major General William Green Jr., who served as the Chief of Chaplains, and General David Hodney, commander of the Army Transformation and Training Command. Now the military is missing critical combat experience as the war with Iran enters week 6. And joining me now, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General Russell Honore. General, good to see you again. Let me ask you about these 3 generals who have been pushed out by Secretary Hegseth. The Pentagon has not given an explicit reason for why they were fired. What do you make of the dismissals?
Well, I've been quite two traditional as well as decisions about the going into boots on the ground in Iran that the secretary, the chief of staff of the Army would have had some major input on. The boots on the ground decision when and where. His job is to prepare them. His job is to make sure all the air defenses that's been defending our allies are prepared. And sometime I've served on the Joint Chiefs of Staff as a two-star general. The service chiefs do have a vote and try to influence the decisions made by the Secretary of Defense and by the President. And I sense with this Secretary of Defense, disagreement means dissent, and that if there's not good discussions on what decision is going to be made and how they're going to do it, then they serve no purpose. I think what he's looking for is people, loyalists who will do what he says and how he said do it, as opposed to following the customs and traditions of the military that we want to have active debate before we do something. I don't think he tolerates that. If you go question him on why did you take those officers off the promotion list? Why are we changing the rank of the chaplains? Maybe we ought to discuss this. He does not tolerate any discussion. He's got a big ego problem, and that could have long-standing impact to our military.
General Russell Honore, thank you so much for being with me this evening. Always good to see you.
Good evening. God bless America, and hope we can find that pilot.
Indeed.
Tonight, a shakeup at the Pentagon amid the ongoing war in Iran. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has fired the Army's top general. And a source tells CNN that Hegseth told Army Chief of Staff General Randy George to retire immediately. 2 other senior leaders are also out. Another source reveals that the decision to fire George was abrupt, but expected. George and Hegseth had been at odds for months after Hegseth blocked the promotion of several Army officers, including 2 women and 2 who are Black. The source says that George demanded to see Hegseth about the issue, but Hegseth denied the meeting.
I don't understand what it means when they say like it was abrupt but expected. Like, a firing is always abrupt, right? It's always like, hey, you're fired. Like, that's it. It just happens. It's not like people are like, hey, dude, I'm getting ready to fire you, okay? Just like in a month or so, just like kind of be prepared. I'm gonna fire you in a month, so just know it's coming. Like, it's always gonna be abrupt. But then when they say, but not surprising, like, okay, so the only thing I could assume you mean when you say a firing is abrupt is that it was surprising. But then when you say not surprising, now I have no fucking idea what you even mean by abrupt. Maybe they mean it was anticipated but didn't know when it was gonna happen. Maybe, I guess maybe they could mean that like they didn't think it was gonna happen now because it was in the middle of the war, but that they knew that he would eventually be fired. Just they thought that it would happen like after the war was over. I guess considering that we're in the middle of a war, it's probably okay. Maybe that would make sense.
Purge comes just days after President Trump signaled that the U.S. would intensify strikes in Iran, and as the Pentagon weighs a potential ground invasion. Isaiah Martin is here with us. It is even outside.
Hey, just to be clear, when she says days after Donald Trump signaled that he was going that strikes were going to intensify, Donald Trump has signaled that since the beginning, where he's continuously said that everything was going to intensify while also saying that the war was over. Like, he's been doing both things the entire time. So I think a little bit later I might take some time to just go ahead and try to find like all of the contradictory statements that Trump's been making about this, find all the clips and edit all of them together or some shit. So if any of you guys have clips or anything, put those in content suggestions, and I'm probably going to try to get to that before I get off.
Of all of the interpersonal drama, of which there is plenty about this, we're in the middle of a war. And the Army Chief
What?
of Staff and to just be purging members of the top military brass in this moment just seems unwise, if not just a great gift to our enemies in terms of what they can say about us in this moment.
Well, I certainly think that the Iranian regime couldn't have seen or gotten something better for them in this instance. I think ultimately what's happening right now is that the United States military is seeing that we're completely have a leadership that is just simply, we don't understand where we're going. I'm particularly concerned about the fact that, the target seems to be moving consistently. I know for this,
Yeah.
first it said that there was not going to be a ground invasion. Then we see reports that there could potentially be one. I think that's an issue. And the fact that we're seeing this change in leadership right now, I think is a sign that we don't really know what's going on.
I think to provide some context for it, right? So the armed services, so the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, their job is what we call man, train, and equip. Their job is to recruit the forces, train them, and make sure they're equipped to go to war. And then when we fight a war, there's a 4-star commander in charge of the combatant commands around the world. We're basically broken up worldwide in geography, and there's a 4-star responsible for fighting in the different areas. So right now the war is being fought by U.S. Central Command. So there's a 4-star commander, Admiral Brad Cooper, down in Tampa, who's responsible for the fight. The Army's job is to transfer forces in accordance with the war plan if there's ground troops or the Navy or the Air Force, regardless. So the folks that were let go today or that were fired, you had the chief of chaplains. There's been a problem where I think the secretary said he had an issue with what he saw as secular humanism in the chaplains corps ranks. You want to
And I just want to note that
Yep.
it's apparently the first time that
Yep.
the chief of chaplains has ever been fired.
Oh, yeah, in the history of the military.
It's a 4-year term.
In the history of the military, it's the first time there. The chief of the training side, he said issues with training, and then him, General George, you just mentioned, had an issue going back to that. But this is part of a series of firings that we've seen across the administration. And I think, as you noted, just in terms of demographics, women make up about 20% of the military, a little bit less than that, a little bit less than 8% of the
17%.
17%. And then the general officer ranks only about 8%. But there's been a disproportionate number of women and minority general officers that were fired. And the argument's kind of coming back. Are they being fired because they're minorities, and whether it's gender or ethnic or racial minorities, or is this for another reason? I think the secretary is coming back and saying that some people were put in positions they shouldn't have been in as a result of that. Other people are saying no, that they deserve to be there, and you're firing them as a result. And that's the two sides of the argument people are making.
And General George, as well as the Army Secretary, so let's not forget the Secretary of Army is a political appointee. So you have here the civilian and the military leadership of the Army working very closely together. And apparently that was part of Hegseth's problem, is that he had these two people working closely together.
Yeah, and just a little bit of context on that. I mean, CNN's reporting is that Randy George was very close to Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, and Hegseth perceived Driscoll as a threat and at times had a contentious relationship with him. Driscoll is also close to J.D. Vance, has been mentioned as a possible replacement for Hegseth.
Yep.
Hegseth's, since Signalgate, since that chat where he was sharing classified information, he seems to be on shaky ground, or at least his perception of his job. And there's some reporting that this is a result of that.
I will say it so you don't have to. He is signaling that he is a very insecure leader right now because he's getting rid of expertise.
Signaling, get it, guys? Because of the signal chat group. Oh, I'm so fucked. I should not have gone through here. Oh, that was okay. I'm a fucking champ.
He's surrounding him. General George brought the Army out of a massive recruitment crisis back in 2020, one of the worst we've seen. He brought it back to full force. He moved to adapt to, and accommodate for the cheap drones and acquisition of cheap drones that we're seeing prevalent in the war in Ukraine, which, oh, by the way, happened to be drones from Iran. So he was doing what he was supposed to do. Him and Secretary Driscoll also both spoke up about the fact that people don't get on these lists for flags to become general officers without having exemplary service. So I find it very interesting that somebody apolitical in the Army Chief of Staff, somebody Republican appointed under Trump, that is who the current Secretary of War is going after.
Jason?
Well, I think Pete Hegseth plays a huge role in recruitment. And I think that's a key reason why you're seeing so many more people volunteering to serve. I think if you don't have trust in the people around you, whether or not they come with expertise, and I have no doubt that they came with expertise, but it's kind of useless if you don't actually trust it. We don't know really what was behind this. Now, again, the reporting suggests that there's some conflict or tension between the two from a personality perspective, perhaps. Maybe this was a case of align versus agree, and they could do neither. But when you're in a position like this, you have to make sure that you trust the people around you. When General McChrystal was fired, during the Afghanistan war by President Obama because he downplayed the importance of, at the time, Vice President Joe Biden. While it was obviously a news story, I don't recall some of the same framing. Now, this could be a huge deal, right, at the end of this. We don't know. Right now, it doesn't appear to be a huge deal as far as readiness is concerned with what's going on in Iran right this moment.
But it does say a lot about Pete Hegseth, for sure.
Well,
because it
without
for
knowing
sure.
the reason.
Well, it says, well, I mean, you're saying we don't know, but there's actually a lot of reporting that suggests that there are several reasons, including insecurity, as Naira pointed out, but also, I mean, his hand or attempt to have a hand in personnel decisions has been something that across the forces, not just in the Army, has been a problem for senior leadership. He's taking a list of potential one-star promotions that doesn't.
Why do these people always harp on about who appointed them? Like, what does that even matter? Just because Trump hired them before doesn't mean they are still right person for the job. The point is that that firings in these areas are rare, and that they're the few patterns that we see is that Donald Trump does like getting rid of people that were appointed by other presidents. That is like a common theme with him and his administration, is that they just keep firing anybody who is hired by past administrations because they think that that means that they're loyal to that administration instead of him, which is weird, already wrong, but whatever. But then when they're firing people who are considered to be like, high-ranking, exemplary status, just people who have very stellar records and that seem to be respected by everybody, and then all of a sudden they're fired, it makes you start to think, okay, well, did Trump have a problem with them? Well, that'd be unlikely. Trump was the one who fucking appointed them. So what could the issue possibly be here? And when we're not given a reason for why these people are fired, all we have to do is guess. So they're going to bring up all of the different types of information that you can use to gain context to who that person was and how they did in the job. But it just matters as far as like context, and especially as far as like the pattern for Trump firings go. Good, more conjecture from idiots? Wait, what was the conjecture? Do you even know what that word means? It doesn't mean stuff that hurts your fifis, by the way. That's not conjecture. I don't think you know what the fuck conjecture means.
Get political, that is merit-based, that's based on a long process in the military, and he's striking individual names, which, according to the reporting, it's not even clear if it's legal for him to do that. So there's the broader picture is of somebody who is a defense secretary who is dealing with both some personality drama, but also has a leadership style that's resulting in mass firings. I'm not sure mass firings are ever really a good sign.
The pattern that I see, and it's not true in every instance, but the pattern that I'm seeing is Secretary Hegseth resents dissent and disagreement.
Yeah, normally if you fire a ton of people, it does mean that there's like a big problem. It normally means that you're in disarray. And or you, especially when it's high-ranking people, when you're firing people who are kind of essential. And when you do that in the middle of a war, like, there's gotta be like a really, really good reason for that, because you're just signaling to everybody that you are totally fucked. Like, you're signaling to the rest of the world, yeah, we're kind of fucked right now. We got big problems.
And he resents anyone who he believes is a holdover from the Biden administration. He wants to pick his team he doesn't want a team that was picked for him. And that is largely who he's been targeting with these firings, are people who he feels like he was stuck with. And to Jason's point, he wants people that he trusts, not people that he's told to trust, but people that he trusts.
But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is the military. Virtually everybody at the star level is a holdover from the previous administration. They didn't just show up. They were there because they're all serving under the United States military, and whatever.
I'm gonna assume it seems like every time somebody comes in typing in all caps, it's a conservative, because they are all like the people who are just really needy for attention. That's why conservatives like to troll a lot. The whole point of trolling is to try to get like a reaction from somebody, and that like that's like sign of somebody who really needs attention. And then it also seems to be the case that a lot of people vote for Trump because they think it's edgy and that it gets them a lot of attention if they walk around wearing a MAGA hat and shit like that. So when somebody comes in typing in all caps, I kind of assume, oh, this person's got to be a fucking conservative. Like if all capsing is supposed to communicate some emotion or something like that, then it makes sense in that case. But when instead you're just typing normal shit in all caps, we know who you are.
For whoever the president is at the time.
But if you
so how is that a reason to fire people?
So if you go into this believing that there has to be some systemic change because you believe that a lot of the problems as he perceives them is due to the fact that everyone is in fact a holdover, then this does make sense. And to be clear, unfortunately, there's going to be another Democratic president who's then going to make the exact same changes.
Say that again. So you're suggesting that his belief is that any person in the military is a holdover from the previous administration, which is virtually everyone, is a problem?
I think he views any kind of non-institutionalized change as part of the issues within.
This is why they bring up, this right here is exactly why they bring up that Donald Trump is the person who appointed them. That's it right there. There you go.
We also know, and I don't want to downplay this, because we also know he's written a book about this, that he believes that women in the military are a problem. We also know that he believes that people of color are in large part not qualified for all kinds of different.
Look at this guy in red. His name is I Love Twinks.
What he calls DEI reasons. And so when we see actions that are supported by his own words, that's why there are questions about what the motivations are.
And the idea, the entire idea of having a professional force, right, after the Warren Commission, after Vietnam, and not to have drafting family members willy-nilly, was a professionalized force that was separate from all of these political challenges. So listen, if he has an issue with his Secretary of Army, who is a political appointee and maybe threatening, got it. But people who actually know, who have served in Iraq, served in Afghanistan, know how war is conducted, have actually made great gains for our military strength and adaptability, those are probably not the people you want walking out the door.
Yeah. You have a quick last
one? Yeah, just a quick. So, I mean, I think across the board, normally you see 3 and 4 stars being interviewed by the Secretary of Defense before they get promoted in those positions, confirmed by the Senate. So in terms of an institutional change, yes, we also saw the firing of most of the career ambassadors who were appointed on the previous administration. So we are seeing institutional change across the government, from the State Department, the Pentagon, et cetera. But when you look at the disproportionate numbers for who is getting fired, right, and where that's coming from, I think it does get back to the root question that's there. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Is he seeing the folks that were in those positions put there because he saw them as illegitimately put in those positions based on not being qualified, that they were somehow put there for being a minority, or were they actually qualified to be there and they're now being targeted as a result of their gender or race? And that's the two sides of the debate right now that are going on in Washington. He's saying folks aren't qualified. Other folks are saying you're targeting people.
And obviously, I mean, you've got people inside the Pentagon, in the high ranks of the Trump Pentagon, who believe that he was wrong to strike those names for whatever reason that he wanted to strike them. Alex, thanks a lot for being here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. You big dumb fat loser.
How is the military focusing this search, especially as Iran has not been able to locate this crew member?
anytime there are operations, air operations, you have HC-130 cargo aircraft that are search and rescue with Blackhawks flying in rotation, ready to go in literally.
Bro. This guy is on cable television talking about Blackhawks over here, dude. What the fuck? Our country is becoming too degenerate, man. CNN has gone woke. Over here, just shoving Blackhawks in our faces. Just always trying to shove Blackhawks down my throat, dude.
I mean, within minutes of there being a problem. And then, of course, those aircraft, which are operations, you have HC-130 cargo aircraft that are search and rescue with Blackhawks flying in rotation, ready to go in literally, I mean, within minutes of there being a problem. And then, of course, those aircraft, which are very slow moving and they fly very low, they are also escorted by fighters. So it's something where the response to be able to find an American pilot would be extensive and immediate. And of course, my thoughts, of course, are with the pilots and their families, as well as the entire rescue team and their families as well, because they're all in harm's way as they try to safeguard this remaining American fighting man.
We had some really important reporting here on CNN last night by Natasha Bertrand and team about Iran's capabilities and just how capable they are when it comes to launching missiles and drones. And
cool story, bro.
A major development in the war with Iran just minutes ago. U.S. sources confirmed to CNN that an American fighter jet has been shot down over Iran, and a desperate and very dangerous search and rescue mission for the crew.
Bro, I was watching Fox News talk about this yesterday, okay? This is actually disgusting. So I was watching Fox News talk about this, and they were saying, I remember the lady saying, you know, that they still haven't found the guy, and the really sad part about this is that he could be used for propaganda from the Iranians if he's captured. Him being captured, the sad part is that they could use him for propaganda? What the fuck? That's the part? Not the fact that, like, his life is in danger, that, like, he could be killed and tortured, and that this is an American. That's, like, the sad part is that he could be used for propaganda from Iranians? What the fuck? And this is from Fox News, dude. Like, the people who pretend to be, like, the uber patriotic motherfuckers.
Is now underway.
3 U.S. sources are confirming earlier Iranian state media reports. Those reports included these images you're seeing right here on the screen of what it claimed were a downed U.S. force fighter jet. CNN has reached out to U.S. Central Command for comment. I want to bring in CNN's Jim Sciutto, who is in Tel Aviv, Israel, and Elena Trine at the White House. Jim, to kick it off with you, what more are you learning?
U.S. officials now confirming that a U.S. fighter jet was shot down over Iranian territory and that a search and rescue operation has been lost and, to our knowledge, remains underway. In fact, there have been images circulating online, geolocated by CNN, which are consistent with a search and rescue operation. They show both fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters, including one video that shows the refueling of 2 helicopters, and that's notable because they would be refueled to stay in the air, which would indicate that they've been in the air for some time conducting these search and rescue operations. A serious, arguably one of the most serious circumstances in wartime is to have U.S. forces behind enemy lines, shot down behind enemy lines, and to then launch a search and rescue operation, which, though they are trained for, these crews are positioned for these operations and trained for these operations. Those operations themselves are dangerous as well because they put additional U.S. forces over Iranian territory in wartime, and where it's already been demonstrated that Iran maintains the capability to threaten U.S. aircraft, having shot down one. So those forces will be operating with great care, but also with immediacy to get those pilots safely and in time. We should note that Iranian state TV, as it earlier reported the shootdown, was exhorting viewers to turn in pilots if they were to find them before U.S. forces do. So one might say was something of a race going on, right, between Iranian authorities and forces and U.S. forces to get those pilots to safety.
No.
All right, Jim Sciutto, thank you. We hope that they are safe and that they are rescued. We appreciate it. Let's go now to Elena Treen at the White House. Elena,
that was slick.
What are you hearing there?
Yeah, look, so this is reporting from, 3 U.S. officials, to my colleague Haley Britsky, Kevin Liptak, and I, as Jim laid out, that a U.S. fighter jet has been shot down over Iran and search and rescue is underway. I will note that at this point, there is very little information we actually know about what is happening related to this. We do not know where the plane went down. We do not know the status of the crew on board, and we are not hearing any official word from the U.S. military or the White House at this moment, though of course we do know that they are monitoring this very closely, and obviously this is a very sensitive thing, and so they're being very careful with what they're going to be putting out publicly. Now, I will say one thing we have been hearing, of course, is repeatedly I'm hearing in my conversations with people in that building behind me, you have to be careful with what you're hearing from the Iranian state media, which of course has been sharing a lot of videos and images this morning of this. But what we did hear as well from the state-run Tasman agency, they said that the search for any missing crew had, quote, so far been unsuccessful. Now, I do want to say, part of the reason this is so notable is because this incident does mark the first time that a U.S. aircraft has been shot down over Iran since the beginning of this conflict. For context, we do know that, near the beginning of the war, 3 F-15s were mistakenly shot down in a friendly fighter incident by Kuwaiti air defenses, but this is the first time we're seeing them shot down by enemy fire. Now, again,
towards the end of stream last night, if you guys weren't here, we read an article about the fact that the Trump administration has been underreporting deaths in the Middle East by almost half, I believe, is what it was. It was about half. So yeah, they are drastically underreporting the numbers, and the reason that we know this is because the Biden administration was reporting a certain amount of deaths throughout a period of time, and the Trump administration has now stopped reporting those deaths and left them out of their reports. So this has become kind of fucking insane, especially there were reports of the fact that military bases were being struck by Iran, and while these bases were being struck, the United States was not going and getting these military members out of the bases, and instead the people were just evacuating themselves and going and staying in hotels, and even going inside of like office places and trying to stay there. And now Iran is accusing the United States of using human shields, because all of these military members are going inside of hotels, and now they're saying, oh, so you're just like you're making it to where we have to shoot down a fucking hotel with a bunch of other civilians inside of it in order to kill military members, because you're using all of these other civilians as human shields. And wait, fuck, that's actually accurate. Like, this is the same exact sort of criticism that everybody would have of Hamas if they did something like this. This is actually really fucked up that we're allowing this to happen right now. So yeah, this is a really grossly fucking negligent war that we're in the middle of right now.
We are waiting to hear what the White House will ultimately say on this, and similarly with the military. But it is, a huge blow for this Trump administration, in particular at a time when you've heard the president try to project confidence about completely diminishing Iran's military capabilities. And so we'll keep you posted as we learn more on this. Wolf and Pam.
We're getting this new image coming into CNN right now. This is an image published by the Iranian state media, and it appears to show a damaged fighter jet ejection seat on the ground. Look at that. A CNN analysis of this image indicates this seat is consistent with a model used in a U.S. F-15E fighter jet. The seat, which separates from the aircrew during the ejection process, appears to have sustained damage, with a portion of its back structure missing. And we're also learning that President Trump has been briefed on this situation. Pamela.
All right, Wolf, let's bring in retired Lieutenant Colonel Amy McGrath. She's a former Marine combat fighter pilot, and we should note she's also running as a Democrat for Senate in Kentucky. Thanks for coming on. First off, what is your immediate reaction to this news that a U.S. fighter jet has been shot down in Iran? You just saw that picture there of the ejected seat. There's a search underway for the aircraft's crew.
Well, my immediate response is, or thought is, really thinking
Thoughts
of the
and prayers.
families of this of the aircrew here. Look, I have always felt like Iran.
Oh man, my first thought is they could really capture this guy and use him for propaganda. Probably not. Probably not the way to go.
It's a very big country. It's not the same as Iraq or Afghanistan. The administration has said that they have complete air supremacy and air superiority, and that, the president has said, well, we've decimated their surface-to-air missile capabilities. But a lot of us who flew fighter jets and know this space, shall we say, are very worried that that is not the case. And I think that this sort of just shows that. This F-15 was apparently shot down, and, we're hopefully the ongoing operations will get this air crew out of here, but I'm very worried.
Can you give us a little sense of the sort of training these fighter pilots get for situations like this?
Sure. We have the best training in the world for our fighter pilots.
Everybody take a second, hit the thumbs up button. We're going to do a short stream today. Normally we'll do a much longer and in-depth stream. But today, shorter, just kind of going over the news, playing some games, and catching up on stuff. And then I'll hop off here shortly. But in the meantime, hit that thumbs upsies and double tap the screen. We'll hang out for a little bit going over this shits.
We all go through survival school, whether you're in the Air Force or the Marine Corps or the Navy, or even the Army. If you're going to be flying over enemy territory, you're going to go through survival school, in which you're trained on how to survive, but also how to survive a prisoner of war situation.
Obviously, if captured, Iran will use them for propaganda. Sure, but that's not the, like, that is a thing that can be used. But when you're saying, like, that's the concern, that's the thing to be concerned about, it's a little weird to bring that up when the person hasn't even been found yet. Like, it's just it's a very odd thing to say.
So if you are alive after the ejection, which, the ejection itself is a very violent thing to happen to the body. So, hopefully these crew made it through the ejection. But if you are alive, you're trained on how to communicate to the search and rescue forces that are going to be coming. I mean, I think that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in military aviation. We got friends out there that are going to come find us. And so even if you're not alive, we have mechanisms to, like beacons, shall we say, to find these the remains. So hopefully we will be able to get these aircrew back. But we are trained, and right now that's about as much as I can say, because it is a sensitive ongoing operation that you talked about earlier.
To the extent you can, tell us about the sort of defenses these crew members have on their person when they eject from an aircraft over enemy territory.
Well, that's a great question. When, in an F-15E, it's much like the aircraft that I flew, and the F-18 Delta. We have a pilot and a weapons systems officer, and when you eject, you don't have a ton of weaponry. You might have your radio to be able to call and have friendly forces try to find you, and you may have a pistol on you and maybe a knife, and that's about it. I mean, there's just not a lot of room in the cockpit for extra stuff. So I would say another thing to think about here is in ejecting over a place like Iran right now, think about the fact that we don't really know if the population there is for us or against us. And that makes it difficult. I mean, we had sort of this same thing in Iraq and Afghanistan as well. If you're going to be picked up by somebody who is going to turn you over to the Iranian, forces that are going to use you and capture you, or is the population?
So how many jets have been hit now? Is that 3? We've had 3 jets hit in total since the start.
Population happy that you're there and want to help you. That we don't know, and so anybody that gets shot down over that space is having to deal with that uncertainty.
It's interesting, Colonel. An anchor for Iran's official Fars news agency said a reward was being offered for anyone capturing a, quote, enemy pilot or pilots. How concerning is that for you?
Well, it's to be expected, right? And, anytime you are trained to go into enemy territory, you know that sort of thing is going to happen. The government there is probably going to do everything it can to find those pilots and weapons systems officer, and they'll do anything, they'll influence the population to try to turn them over. And again, we just don't know the status of that. The other thing is, where did this happen within Iran? Iran is a huge area, and people have to understand that Iran is the size, landmass of Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan combined. So you're talking a long way. If this happened, somewhere in the middle of Iran, then it's going to be very hard to sustain operations to try to find these aircrew. But if it happened closer to the coast, perhaps that's a better indication of our forces being able to stay on scene, shall we say, and try to get the folks back.
Damn, son.
Sources tell CNN one of 2 crew members have been rescued after a U.S. fighter jet was shot down over Iran. Images of the wreckage shared by Iranian state media match that of a U.S. F-15, including this ejection seat that appears to be damaged.
They're safe. Thankfully, they were rescued. Both of them were rescued? Last I checked, the second one was still missing. Was the last one rescued? Yeah. Second one was rescued as of an hour ago.
Iranian officials placing a bounty on the head of the second U.S. crew member lost after an F-15E fighter jet was downed over enemy territory. Search and rescue teams working through the night, but the clock is ticking. And with every passing hour, this search becomes more consequential. President Trump stopping short of saying how the U.S. will respond if our airman is captured by Iran.
Everything still just says search intensifies, blah, blah, blah.
Right now, I do want to get you to the latest on Operation Epic Fury, as today does mark 5 weeks since all of this operation here began against the Iranian regime. Now, take a look at
I don't see anything that says that they were found. Trump reported that they were found. It's just starting to be reported. Okay. Hindustan Times, missing U.S. F-15E jet pilot found in Iran. Latest on search operation as videos surface. It has a question mark next to him being found. So it seems as though it's still not confirmed. According to reports, Iranian authorities are carrying out their own search operation and have even gone so far as to ask civilians to help. On Saturday, footage circulating on social media was shared by Michael A. Horowitz, appears to show heightened activity. One crew member has been rescued, according to sources quoted by Axios, but the second is still being sought after urgently. According to the source, both crew members ejected after the aircraft was hit by Iranian fire. Huh. Okay.
I think that if you are an American who has been listening to the rhetoric of this administration, it might surprise you to know that, yes, Iran has, certainly suffered in its capabilities, but it still has a considerable amount of them. What does this event tell us about Iran's capabilities?
I think it tells us more about what the administration is saying in terms of, or to the extent of exaggerating certain factors. It's important to understand that while the offensive capabilities of Iran have been greatly diminished, they have substantial.
This is part of what's really obnoxious about like all the MAGA people who always run around saying, oh, why does everybody care so much about what Trump says, man? I just care about the policy. Well, for one, Trump's not he's not a policymaker. He's not a legislator. The president is supposed to be a leader. There's somebody who's supposed to lead everybody else. And Donald Trump is not getting legislation passed. He's not getting, this has been the least efficient presidency probably of my lifetime. one of the least efficient presidencies of all time in terms of legislation. And this is why, again, he has the House and the Senate. He has, every branch of government currently. He still is moving at a snail's pace at getting legislation passed. But more importantly, we're at war right now, and we as the constituents, we the people, should be able to get information from our government that is telling us what the fuck is going on in the war that we're paying for. And instead, Donald Trump is just saying insane fucking things every time he comes to the podium and contradicting himself every time he talks about something. Not just him, but including his entire staff. Every time Pete Hegseth talks, he contradicts something that the last general said. Every time Marco Rubio talks, he contradicts the last thing that Trump said. Every time Trump talks, every other sentence, he contradicts himself. So this is highly problematic. And when everybody acts like it doesn't matter that he's just a fucking insane person who can't be trusted and that he lies a lot, like this is, they just play this down and act like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I care about the policy. Okay, so you just don't give a fuck about anything then. Like, you just literally don't give a fuck about anything. That's all you're saying. You just don't give a fuck about literally anything. You just like Trump. That's that. That's it. Which means that you like a fucking liar and a piece of shit and somebody who's willing to drag our country into the shitter. That's what you like. Weird as fuck, dude.
Ability to still strike out at its neighbors and to strike out at our military bases. On top of that, their ground capability, if we were to go in and occupy anything, is quite frankly massive. And having several thousand airborne or light infantry soldiers are not going to be sufficient against the Iranian army. We do have the strongest military on the planet. The reality is we have to be able to be thoughtful in how we would do any kind of an operation if it was to involve ground forces.
What is the psychological effect on this event for U.S. forces and also for the American public?
For the U.S. military, it's a very sad, but it's an essential part of, quite frankly, the why we serve. We serve to defend the Constitution, to defend the American people, to implement and to execute the lawful orders of our leaders to the best that we can. And so obviously it hurts significantly to lose an aircraft or to lose a fellow airman. And at the same time, people are dedicated to the cause and they will persevere. In terms of the American public, that's a different story. It will vary according to their beliefs in the administration and then how close they are to military families as well. I just hope that everybody is united in supporting our military and their families.
Yeah, certainly hoping that they are united in that. General, we do have some new video, and this is coming from Iranian state-run media showing Iranians looking for, I don't know if it's just this remaining unrecovered crew member or if this was at the point when both had been unaccounted for. But the point is that they're really incentivizing people to go out and look. They have been offering a reward for anyone who might.
I mean, honestly, knowing Trump, this could be literally be him just like claiming that the pilot was found, just hoping that this will stop Iran from continuing to look or stop Iranians from trying to search for him or anything. Just going claim that we found the guy and that we've got him just so that they're not looking for him anymore.
Capture one of these Americans. What are your concerns here?
Well, it does not surprise me that the Iranian regime is incentivizing people to look, the local population to look. I am somewhat encouraged by at least the official releases have said, do not harm the pilot, make sure that he is kept safe. And so those are very encouraging words in the event that the Iranian people find this individual first. As we know, when we lost pilots in North Vietnam, they were not always treated that way whatsoever. They were many times tortured, beaten, and so on. So let's hope that if that pilot is captured, that he is treated under the rules of the Geneva Convention, which of course is a bottom line, important baseline for all American military members.
There are a lot of scenarios.
We can't count on the United States on following those rules, so I don't know why the fuck we would expect Iran to do so.
That come to mind here, Boris, but as you can see, this, of course, is the...
Pete Hegseth thinks following the Geneva Convention is woke. He thinks that's wokeness.
Ejection seat right here, it appears to have some damage associated with it. This would be consistent with an explosion that would be a natural part of the actual ejection. So basically these have an explosive charge. These ejection seats have an explosive charge underneath them, and that forces, that explosive charge when activated, forces the person that's sitting in the seat up out of the aircraft, and then that's when the parachutes are deployed and things like that happen. So this is not inconsistent with a safe ejection, and it's something that is definitely survivable from that, assuming that the impact and everything was as we see here, where everything is kind of right side up in this case.
Yeah. When it was initially reported, state media in Iran suggested that this was an F-35 stealth fighter jet.
Fucking way.
But upon closer inspection of some of the photos of the wreckage, analysts have since determined that this is more likely an F-15. It's more consistent with the makeup of an F-15. Help us understand.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. So, you basically look at the type of metal that is used in this particular case. You look at the markings, and you look at the way in which all of this is, printed in, stenciled in here, and the type of rivets that you see. All of that is consistent with an F-15. It is definitely not an F-35. And that is important because an F-15 is not a stealth aircraft. The F-35 is a stealth aircraft. It's harder to detect, almost impossible for standard radar to detect the F-35.
Why the fuck is somebody that big trying to kill somebody this small as me, dude? Why the fuck is he even wasting his time trying to kill somebody that fucking small, dude? You can't see it? Why does it keep doing that on y'all's fucking screen? Why? Wait, what do you mean you can't see it? Oh, that one? Oh, the other screen can't see it. It was up earlier. How the fuck did that happen? It was definitely up earlier. That's weird. Weird shit.
F-15 can be detected by radar.
Yeah, if it were an F-35, I imagine that it would symbolize a different capacity for Iran's military, whereas this does not. I do want to get your thoughts on the video that was geolocated by CNN showing a plane flying low over the ground while two helicopters are nearby. It's believed to be part of the rescue operation. Walk us through what's happening.
Yeah, so what you see here is there's a refueling aircraft here. That's a C-130, an HC-130, and that's designed to refuel helicopters like this. These are probably the HH-60 helicopters that are being used by the Air Force's search and rescue capability. There's a search and rescue unit that's out of the 1st Special Operations Wing that could possibly be involved in this. And these aircraft are designed to extend the range of the helicopters so they can go further into the area that we have here. So when you look at the area that you see here, this is in southwestern Iran called Khuzestan province. This is the area where this is most likely to have occurred, and it is an area where they would have had the capability to refuel even in Iranian airspace, so that could then extend their range into other parts of Iran if necessary.
Put this into context for us, because even if it is an F-15 and not an F-35, there is still some symbolism to draw from this, especially because just a few nights ago, you had the President of the United States touting the U.S. military's ability to destroy Iran's offensive capability. We've heard the Defense Secretary talking about dominion over the skies of Iran. this contradicts that to a degree.
To a degree, it does, yeah. And so you see, when you look at all of these strikes right here, there's a considerable amount of effort that was put into this. So there's no doubt that basically thousands of strike sorties were flown against western Iran, southern Iran, and of course the area around Tehran. And when you look at the concentration right here of strikes in this area, and then you look at the types of strikes that were done here in the western part of the country and in the west central part of the country, you can see that there are a lot of areas that have been hit. And of course, the Iranians are doing the same thing over here in Israel as well. But having said all of that, the key thing is this: no matter how often you strike at targets like this, there are still capabilities that are existent within the Iranian arsenal. CNN reporting has at least half of the missile forces that were believed to have existed before the war still in existence right now. And one of the reasons for that is the way that they can disperse these forces. They have them on mobile launchers. They have them on trucks basically that go all over the place that are harder to detect. And plus they bury them underground. So they have these hardened tunnels that are designed specifically to survive these kinds of attacks. Iran has been preparing for this kind of a war for a very long time. And we're seeing the results of that preparation. It doesn't mean that they're winning, but what it does mean is that they have a capability to not only fight back, but they have a capability to down some of our aircraft if we're not careful and
Nah, dude, they're decimated. Everybody knows they're decimated. They're just decimated. It's all decimated. Navy decimated, Air Force decimated, whole military, everything decimated. War is won. We won the war on day one. On day one, the war was over, and that's it. Everything's decimated. It's all over. Finished. Pretty much no reason to even fight since day one. We just continue doing it just for the love of the game, you know? Absolutely no reason to keep going. Just, it was all decimated. Absolutely decimated. In ways nobody thought possible.
The proper defenses aren't dispersed by the aircraft itself. F-15 does have the capability to disperse some defensive chaff, for example, which is like aluminum foil coming out of the aircraft. But be that as it may, they can do a lot of damage to aircraft like that, especially if it's a heat-seeking missile as opposed to a radar.
Let's bring Spider Marks in. Does it feel to you, General, that it's moving in this direction to put boots on the ground?
Well, I certainly hope not. But first, I feel like I may be on the wrong panel. We're talking Belushi and daycare. So
you're on the right panel. I can assure you.
Dialed in.
You are dialed in. And we want to get your military perspective, especially when it comes to the boots on the ground, because that is something that obviously would be a big escalation and would put a lot of American soldiers in harm's way. Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I don't get it either. I think they cut out whatever context would make that make sense. I'm assuming when he says daycare, they're showing the clip of Donald Trump saying that the United States isn't going to pay for daycare because we need to put money into war. And then there's, this has been a clip that's been going around for a while where they keep showing it next to Marco Rubio, who says, hey, like, we're going to go after Iran and hopefully they will turn around and start actually using their money to help their citizens, and that's something that we're hopeful of. And then they show Donald Trump next being like, what? We can't pay for daycare? We're not doing that. We have to put money into weapons.
Yeah, Pamela, the deal is we've got 2 Marine Expeditionary Units showing up in the course of a few days. You'll have that's about 5,000 plus. Then you have the 82nd Airborne, elements of the 82nd that are on call. Some elements have already been in theater. So let's just give them a round number of about 10,000. That would be an insignificant number of troops in order to either.
This is called theater because after the movie, fuck. Well, this sucks. I'm totally fucking it up because I can't remember the name of the movie now. The something bastards. What was? What the fuck is the movie called? I keep wanting to call them the infallible bastards, but that's not. Inglorious Bastards. There you go. The Inglorious Bastards. They killed all the Nazis in the movie theaters, and now every time military members are out fighting somewhere, they call it a theater now because of that scene in that movie. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you guys didn't even know that, did you? There you go. I took a long time to get there, and we eventually got there, and I totally fucked it up by forgetting the name, but all right, figured it out.
Either go ashore north of the straits and try to clear out that element of the Zagros Mountains. Could it be done? Oh, yeah. I mean, the Marine Corps and look, I grew up in that space. We can do that. We can do that. But is that what you want to do in that type of an environment with the risks of the Iranians maybe turning that into what we call a dirty battlefield with chemicals? I mean, nobody has ever lined up. And I was Mr. WMD when we went to war in Iraq, and nobody has ever dialed down what Iran's capacity is to deliver either biological weapons or.
Is this supposed to make sense? I like half the fucking comments from chat. I keep wondering if you guys are like even trying to actually make any sense with the fucking shit that you guys are saying. They say liberals. When liberals is good book, the word up. I'm sure somebody in chat's Tom pretending like he doesn't understand what these chats means. There's no way he doesn't understand what they're trying to say, dude. Just oh my goodness, it's just so simple, Tom. Just fucking try to just read into it a little bit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's terrible fucking linguist, dude. How the fuck can you call yourself a linguist and not know what that meant?
Chemical weapons. That would be a nasty, dirty.
How you call yourself the greatest linguist of all time?
Is playing through all that. They are planning for that. But boots on the ground would be for what particular purpose? And what I hear is securing the highly enriched uranium. My first question is, how much do they have? Do we have a good sense of that? I grew up in the intelligence community, and we can get it wrong. And, oh, by the way, where is it? It's just not necessarily in Esfahan, Natanz, or Fordo. It could be in somebody's backyard or on the back.
Liberals is a good thing, not a bad thing. Look the word up. Liberals means wokes. Liberals means transes the kidses. Right, guys? Right, guys? That's what it means, right, guys? Liberals means woke agenda. Agendas.
Back of a truck migrating through the countryside.
On that note, I want to play this sound from Trump. On that note, just hold your thoughts and then talk about it on the other side really quick. Let's listen to this. Oh, actually, this is what he said. This is what he told, I believe, Reuters. He said, in terms of the enriched uranium, that's so far underground, I don't care about that. We'll always be watching it by satellite. And he said Iran was incapable of developing a weapon now. What do you think about that?
Let me go to the second part of that statement. I agree. They're probably incapable of doing that based on the damage that they've suffered over the course of last summer's strikes and what they have had to suffer through, which is a good deal for them to suffer through it, I think, over the course of the last month. So what the United States, I can say with certainty, we've delayed their ability to develop a nuclear weapon. We will never know with certainty until you can start to open doors, put boots on the ground and do it. That's the challenge.
I talked with a former Navy intelligence official who told me certain flights and other movements from bases housing special forces indicate.
We don't even know why we're there, though. Like, we have no fucking idea why we're in Iran, what the goal is. Like, still, at this point. what are we, a month in now? We still have no fucking idea why we're in Iran. We haven't been given like a clear and specific reason. Donald Trump just gave a whole speech the other day about the whole war and still did not give us a reason for why we're there. And obviously there's been a couple of times where he's talked about it, but he's contradicted himself since then. And so has Pete Hegseth, and so does Marco Rubio. It just they all keep contradicting themselves and each other and nobody has any fucking idea why we're in Iran. What's the dictionary? Look up liberal. I know what a liberal is. I'm a fucking liberal. That means I want to trans the kids.
Case to him that a ground invasion, ground mission of some kind is imminent. What are you seeing when it comes to the next stage of this conflict? How strong is that possibility?
I think that's been discussed repeatedly over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and you have visible evidence of that. You have the 2 amphibious ships, marine amphibious ships, one of which, the USS Tripoli, is floating right outside the Strait of Hormuz, waiting for orders. You have the Boxer, another amphibious ship prepared to go forward. And as well, you have our Army 82nd Airborne, which is used for immediate interdiction. It's absolutely appropriate if you're trying to seize an island such as Karg Island to have the 82nd parachute in, seize the runways, and then prepare for the amphibious assault by our Marines. And equally, and consistent with other conversation, when you address the special forces, that instantaneously raises the expectation that these specialized units, the direction given to these specialized units is to move as quickly as possible to seize the remnants of the Iranian uranium repositories. So yeah, there is significant substance to this. Now, of course, the question is...
We get it. You're a lame liberal. Okay. Thanks, money. I looked up the word liberal, but there was just a picture of a Gays for Palestine poster. Bruh. Bruh.
This gay marriage. They telling me I gotta get gay married?
Okay, Bobby, no one's telling you gotta get gay married.
Too late! I done married my buddy Zeke.
Howdy.
How's fishing? Not even a nibble. You see what these sicko liberals are making us do?
And see, before gay marriage was legalized, I could have married any lady I wanted. It cuts a now, and I'm stuck here married to Bobby.
Yep. We decided to go ahead and get it done before the government made us do it.
See, you still got the gun.
We got rid of all the guns, though. That's the next thing the government's going to come after. Ain't that right, Zeke?
Apparently, the man doesn't think it's safe to have guns in the house when you got a little kid running around.
You guys have a kid.
My dads are awesome. They're always holding hands and kissing because that's what the government wants them to do. And they said when I grow up, I can be anything I want to be. And that sexuality is fluid because that's the way things are running anyways.
Now she's going to go off and get a good Ivy League education, come back here and take my job.
It's just another immigrant taking an American job away.
I thought you were in your own business.
I do. I run a clinic for unwed mothers.
You're a doctor?
We make love in this bed every night. Because pretty soon there's going to be an amendment where we have to do it anyway.
We better get going. It's almost time for mosque.
What?
Oh, yeah, we're Muslim now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wouldn't have to speak Vietnamese, they just make English the national language.
When you say gays for Palestine is what's next to the word liberal, this is what you sound like. This is what you sound like. This is the picture that'll be next to a fucking conservative at this point. Not that MAGA's conservative in any meaningful way of the word, but it is 100% what they sound like. I know. I literally told you guys that I was in the car the other day, and I had one guy who started talking about the fact that there's now 2 Muslim mayors in America, and that things have gone too far. First off, there's way more than 2. That's fucking insane that this guy thinks there's only 2. But once Mamdani got elected, they were like, now there's 2 Muslim mayors elected in America, and now they got all these Muslim mayors, and we're not even allowed to pray anymore. And the other guy's like, yep, I know. If Democrats get back in the presidency, we're literally going to wake up one day. Christianity is going to be illegal. And he went on for like 5 minutes on like what he means by like how literally he means just wake up one day. That like they'll all funnel into the House and the Senate and have secret meeting at night to where they're just gonna make Christianity illegal, and then we're just gonna wake up the next day and it'll be on the news and Christianity will just be illegal. This is what you guys sound like. When I look up MAGA, I just get Elon Musk doing the Sig Heil. Yeah. It's a Roman salute. Okay? It's a Roman salute. Like this guy. Look at this guy right here. Look at this guy doing the Sig Heil. This is disgusting.
حسین سلام علیکم خسته نباشی. آشه سلام علیکم. علیکم سلام. امشب پیدا میشی نترسید. آقا سلام علیکم یا الله یا سلام. پرچم همیشه بالا. حاجی سلام علیکم خسته نباشی. خسته نباشی. خسته نباشی. یا سلام علیکم. حاجی سلام علیکم. حدیث چیه پیدا می‌کنی؟ ان شاء الله پیدا.
Do you see those swastikas all over the flag? Do you see those swastikas all over the flag right there? Oh my goodness.
Inshallah.
All right, everybody, we are live. How you doing? Chuck Holton here, coming to you from Kentucky. My daughter's house here visiting the grandkids for Easter, and I was planning not to do a live today unless we had some major breaking news.
Me too.
And it looks like we have some major breaking
I just wanted to play Slither. I don't really care about the breaking
news. So before we get into it, folks, put where you're watching from in the chat. I see somebody from Spencer, West Virginia, not far from
I'm watching from your mom's bed.
From where I'm sitting, and somebody from Wisconsin, Connecticut, and we got people all over the globe who are watching our show and coming here for commentary from a military perspective, because I spent 8 years in the military, 4 years as a Ranger, Army Ranger in the 75th Ranger Regiment. And then I spent 4 years flying helicopters in the National Guard while I was in college, because I got tired of sleeping in mud puddles and road marching.
I get tired of sleeping in your mom's bed, so I know how it feels.
So, hope you're having a good weekend. It sounds like the second, not pilot, he's actually a weapons officer from the F-15 that was shot down in western Iran the other day, has been potentially found and possibly rescued. I'm caveating all of that right away.
Because Donald Trump's the one who said it.
Just off the top, because I want you to know that nothing has been confirmed by CENTCOM. We have nothing about this this guy that was the second crew member lost from that F-15. The first one, as you remember, was picked up almost immediately after ejecting, and but the second one apparently ejected quite a bit later. And you know, as fast as those aircraft are moving, as high up as they are, he could have landed 20, 30, 40 miles from where the first guy landed. So there is a lot of speculation right now coming out of Iran, going around on social media, that the pilot has been found by the United States. They sent special operations, combat search and rescue in there, large firefights, serious clashes between them and the Basij and local tribesmen, that sort of thing. And we don't have all the details right now, but those are coming out as we speak. So I'm going to give you what we have, and we'll kind of watch this together as it goes along. So the first thing I want to point out is that there is some fake imagery going around on social media. You have to be careful about this stuff. They can make it look really, really real.
TikTok's gonna have a fucking field day with that, dude. We're gonna get a whole fucking press conference from Unfuck America tour. Like, we don't know this guy? We've never met him before? Didn't know anything about him?
And this is being posted by some accounts that are known for posting.
He tried telling us he invented car washing. We just took his word for it.
Fake content which shows what appears to be an American serviceman being apprehended by Iranians, but this is likely a fake photograph, and so that's, I'm just giving you that so you'll know. Now I want to talk about the location where this is. I'm gonna try not to make this an hour-long live. We're going to go for maybe 20 minutes but unless more information comes out. But I'm going to try to give you what we have and explain what's going on. The map shows this area, and actually I think it'd be easier if we go over to the actual map. Let me see if I can find that. Don't have my producer today because it's middle of the night. It's currently about,
I say my producer, Shirley, is off today. It's the middle of the night.
3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning in Iran. And so, you know, this is all happening in the dark. And so the location right there where that red dot is, if we zoom out, so you can see that, you know, this is sort of central western Iran. It's not near the Persian Gulf. It is up in the mountains. It's a very remote area. And I want to show you what it looks like, because this is the area we're talking about here. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I can get down to a 3D view. Yeah, there we go. Let's go to like a 3D view here. So you can just see all these different mountain ranges with valleys and rivers down in there. Okay. You can see what that looks like. I mean, this is pretty extreme topography, to say the least. You can see the mountains and these little hidden valleys and stuff down in here. Now, if we look at the photos from that area, we can see, I mean, pretty amazing. You can imagine if this guy was hiding out, there's plenty of places for him to hide in here. Trees and grass and
Tom, I'm lagging in Slither. Really? I haven't had any issues.
mountains. Looks beautiful. Once this is all over, if Iran has a new government and we can get into Iran, we ought to take a tour over there and go visit
Let's
some
all
of
go
these
together.
places, because Iran has some very beautiful places in the country. Very dry, very mountainous, but I mean, it reminds me of Afghanistan, actually, which is right next door to Afghanistan, so that makes sense.
Racist. That's fucking racist.
Okay, so let's go. Where are we? Bring up the studio. Yeah, so
I knew
we
by his
have,
country accent he was going to be racist.
looks like very possibly recovered the weapons officer from that F-15 that was shot down. Now, again, this is not confirmed by CENTCOM. There's just a lot of chatter out there about it. And there are some fairly reputable sources.
So wait, so did Donald Trump actually tweet this out, that, or Truth Social, that they found this guy? Did he really say this? I don't know. Huh.
Sources that are mentioning it, at least. So we're just going to have to wait and see if we get any clarification on this from the from people at CENTCOM. I imagine that if they do get him and rescue him, get him to safety, that we will find out fairly soon. Now, I want to talk for just a minute about who might be going in to try to rescue this guy. The military has dedicated combat search and rescue units whose mission it is to rescue downed pilots. That's exactly what they do. I have personally gone out with these guys in Afghanistan on real combat missions.
Did you hear his voice crack? That's how you know he's lying. That's how you know. This is something I learned from Candace Owens. If their voice cracks while they're talking, that's how you know they're lying.
Was embedded with the medevac units multiple times in the, I don't know, dozen or so times that I went to Afghanistan. And so I just want to show you, this is a blast from the past, okay? This goes back to about 2012 or so, when I was working for Fox News as a cameraman for Oliver North. And Colonel North and I used to spend a couple months a year in Afghanistan and Iraq. We'd go over every year for a month.
Dude, this little guy right next to me, his name's Stalin.
Month or two in the spring and in the fall, and just do embed after embed after embed with every different unit on the that out there. Traveled all over the place. And this is just a short minute and a half piece about organization or a unit that's called the Pedros. And that goes back to Vietnam. I can tell you more about the Pedros in a minute. But the Pedros are a specialized medevac unit specifically trained to rescue downed pilots. Take a listen.
Embedded with U.S. Air Force 41st Expeditionary Rescue Squadron, the Pedros. Their job, saving lives. Lieutenant Colonel Tom Kunkel is the commanding officer of the 41st Expeditionary Rescue Squadron. Colonel, what's the mission of the Pedros?
Mission's out here to save lives, sir. It doesn't matter whether it's United States Marines, UK soldiers, Afghan nationals, Afghan military forces. We're out here to get them off the battlefield and get them to care as soon as we can. We always hope for a slow day of business, but we're always ready to do our job when asked.
Major John Graver is the senior rescue officer with the PJs. They call themselves the Guardian Angels. John, tell the American people what a PJ does.
Well, sir, a PJ is a rescue specialist. He's trained to infill by any means, to get on the ground, to find that wounded person, to save his life, to stabilize him, treat his pain, get him on the exfil vehicle, and get him back to higher hospital care, to either get him back to his family to recover or get him back in the fight.
Do you have a sense of satisfaction at the end of the day you've saved some lives?
Well, yes, sir. Anytime when you know that you're getting someone off the battlefield where in previous wars they may not have made it, but due to technology and medical skills that advanced over the years, that we can get that person onto a helicopter, get him to a hospital, and he has a better chance of getting home to see his family or a better chance of getting with his comrades back in the fight, then that's definitely a high sense of satisfaction that we all take.
At Bastion Airfield, Camp Leatherneck in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, I'm Oliver North for Fox News.
Okay, so that was from about 2012 when I was out with those Pedros. I would be very surprised if it was any other unit besides the Pedros that was going into Iran right now. But if this is true, and if they have located this downed airman, and they've gone in there, there are boots on the ground in Iran, heavily engaged in ground.
This little rainbow guy here with the fucking wings on him, I can never read his name. It's like Iena or something like that, but they are fucking awesome. Like, they are truly fucking amazing at this game. Every time they come flying past me, I'm blown away at just how good they are. Like, they are fitting through the tightest fucking spaces over and over at high speeds, and they're just getting really fucking big. Like, the last couple of times I saw them, they were huge.
Combat right now, as we speak. And so this might sound weird from a journalist, but I think that it would behoove us, especially considering what weekend it is, it's Easter weekend, that we say a prayer for these men and for this pilot. So if you would please just join me.
Behoove you, maybe.
All right, guys, welcome back. We've got massive breaking news coming out right now. The news is coming out. This is from Jack Murphy. He is a journalist and host of the Team House podcast. He's a ex-Green Beret. And this is monumental. This is a giant win. Both of them are out. Both crew members from that downed F-15 have been rescued, and hopefully they get home alive. Special forces went into Iran over the last 48 hours and got them both out. That's the story today, and it's a good one. Let me back up and walk you through this full picture, because what happened over the last 24 hours is one of the most intense combat search and rescue operations this country has seen in a generation. I have to salute Jack Murphy, Green Beret from the Team House. You see his post here 3 hours ago. This gentleman would not put his reputation on the line. He's put his life on the line for America. Good news for once. F-15 WSO, WISO, weapons security officer, has been recovered alive. He was escaping and evading a massive firefight on target. Iranians were actively looking for him in the area. This was posted at a little before 6 p.m. I think Jack is on the East Coast, not far from Fort Bragg. This is amazing. I literally, over the last 48 hours, the last 24 hours specifically, I've got a really good friend that lives here. He was a WISO on F-15 Strike Eagles. And him and I talked about this, and he was telling me exactly what kind of training that they go through, what kind of rigorous training they go through. This is being confirmed on multiple levels right now. But the big one, Jack Murphy, God bless you for the connections that you have within the SOF community, within the Special Operations Forces community. It's big. Now, I do find this odd that a guy that makes his entire career on X, Nick Sorter, is there a source for this? Or are you just sticking with trust me, bro? That's a low rent move, guy. That's a low rent move coming from this guy.
What? That's not. First off, it is weird that Nick Sorter was asking for a fucking source. Okay, that is a little odd. That motherfucker doesn't seem to normally care about sources, but what? Why would that be weird to ask for a source? Like, you would have to tell people where the fuck you got it from. You can't just say, just cuz. Oh yeah, there's the hyena guy fucking trying to wrap me up. No way, bruh. I know you.
And Grok, yes, this checks out. Multiple sources, including CBS, Axios, The War Zone, BBC, confirm a US F-15E was shot down over Iran April 3rd. The pilot was rescued by Special Forces. Jack Murphy, a solid military journalist, not somebody LARPing.
Oh, fuck.
Now reports the Wizzo was recovered alive after evading capture with a major firefight at the extraction site as Iranian.
It's like the third time I've done this. I see something somewhere and I just try going straight to it and don't even realize there's a massive slither right between a massive snack between the two of us. So I keep just running right towards it. There's probably should have thought about the big old snack in between us.
Iranians hunted him. Sources on X are growing fast. Dozens of fresh posts today quoting the same details from Jack Murphy and others. I find it odd that some bro on X would question Jack Murphy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm happy to see this.
You don't question
if
Jack
this makes
Murphy.
your heart a little
You
lighter,
don't ever
it does
question
mine.
Jack Murphy.
I've literally worried about this.
Everybody knows
My
that's a
biggest
low rent
worry
move.
was that this weapon system officer was a female and was going to be captured by the Iranians, because we know exactly what they're capable of. We know exactly what the Ayatollah has told them to do. Friday morning, this F-15E Strike Eagle goes down over Iran. Two-man crew, pilot and weapon system officer, a Wizzo, both
How did
eject,
nobody
both make it
die
out
then?
of the aircraft alive. Immediately, the clock starts ticking because Iran knew they were out there too. Iranian state TV went on the air and told civilians, find these Americans. There's a reward. The Iranians were actively hunting for them on the ground, and our guys were out there evading, hiding, doing exactly what they were trained to do. You go to SEER school down in Fort Walton Beach, Eglin. You don't get to wear that flight suit without going through SEER school. Survival, evasion, resistance, escape. These aviators knew what they were doing on the ground. They knew what they were doing when they raised their right hand to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And the domestic is the word that's really starting to bother me, because there are thousands of people that would celebrate the capture of either one of these gentlemen or ladies. We don't know. They laid low. They stayed quiet. They followed their.
It'd be really bad if a woman was getting raped. Not so bad if it's a guy getting raped, you know. That's what the fuck am I doing here? What the fuck am I doing here? Why did I do that?
Their training, and they waited for the damn cavalry. And the cavalry showed up. Special forces went into Iran, into denied territory. I've got some information about the actual location here. This is the location where they were apparently held, or where the crash was. So they weren't far from this. The second US F-15E pilot has been found. reportedly in Iran's, I can't even say that word. We'll just call it S-hole, and the Boyer Ahmad province S-hole. Here's Prey, and the pilot is unharmed and recovered safely. On the right here, this video footage, this is the little bit of a firefight. That was a motorcycle, not an A-10.
Oh.
But this
I was thinking it was an
group of
A10 for a
civilians
second.
was converging on where this pilot was held up. I'll show you a little closer. So this is the S-hole province, Congalea.
You're an S-hole.
You say it. I don't even really care. But this is the area right here. You see this? There's a province here off to the left. Dadasht, whatever, we'll call it S-hole number 2. This is the approximate location. This yellow dot, this green dot that I've got right here, this is the approximate location of where this pilot was. All right. I'm going to zoom out into a bigger map because I want you to see the actual layout of where this is in relationship to the major targets and how close it was inland from, here's Karg Island right here. You see Karg Island there? Very prominent, very important landmark for us to go by. And then northeast of that, I think it's about 150 kilometers northeast of that is where this pilot roughly where that F-15 crashed. And these people were converging on that area because what says F America like a hostage? There's no other way around it. They would have loved to capture them. Now, because of how far inland this is, the special forces, these helicopters, they took fire. Godspeed to our troops. Keep charging. Trent, thank you so much.
Godspeed.
They took fire. The American forces apparently transit across from Kuwait City.
What is Godspeed? Does it mean like just go really fast? Is that like faster than the speed of light? If you're not a Christian, do you say light speed? Whoops. My bad, Pepe. Whoops. Faster than Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, I almost said Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay.
City and went northeast into Iran. Special forces went into denied territory with Iranian forces actively searching the same area. This is a game of hide and go seek with a lot of lead. They located the pilot first. They pulled him out alive. Then they went back for the Wizzo. According to the journalist, Jack Murphy, who covers special operations, has solid sourcing in the community. The Wizzo's recovered alive. He had been escaping, evading. There was a massive firefight on the objective. Iranians were actively looking for him in the area, and our guys still got him out. Iranians were actively looking for him in the area, and our guys got him out. Special forces go in anyway, and they bring him home. That is what this force is capable of. That is American combat, search, and rescue. That is the training, the preparation, the absolute refusal to leave anyone.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding on the source, guys. That's low rent. Everybody knows that's low rent, bro. That is low rent behavior right there. You don't, nobody challenges Charles Murphy on a source, okay?
Behind paying off in real time.
Low rent behavior.
Let's talk about everything else that happened. because the rescue didn't come easy. An A-10 Warthog sent in to provide close air support, which could very well be the way that the Iranians knew or closed in on the whereabouts of this pilot, because the A-10 was dialed in, trying to provide close air-to-ground support, keeping them away from this pilot on the ground. So it's a double-edged sword. You keep the pilot safe, but you're also alerting, you're cutting this line, this barrier in between of lead, 50 caliber lead. You're keeping them out, but at the same time, you're dialing them into where it's at. That pilot ejected over the Persian Gulf, recovered safely from the A-10. 2 Black Hawk helicopters were hit by Iranian fire during the rescue mission. Crew members were wounded. Both helicopters kept flying and made it back. So in one day, 2 aircraft lost, 2 helicopters hit, crew members wounded, and every single American came home. That is the story. That is what winning looks like, even on a hard day. These rescue crews, the PJs, the special operations teams, the helicopter crews who flew into fire to get their brothers, these are the people we should be talking about right now. These are the guys who train their entire careers for exactly this moment. As one rescue pilot put it, quote, "We spend our entire careers training for this scenario. There's no better trained and prepared force to go and execute this mission." He's right, and they proved it yesterday or today. We're not into yesterday yet. Got more information here. This is more confirmation of exactly what's happening. Let me go here. This is from the Air Force Special Warfare Attachments page. Special operators willingly put their lives on the line to rescue the fallen. What a win for America and the Wizzo who paid attention in SEER training. I believe they go to SEER training about every 18 months. So this isn't something they're doing on a regular basis. It says, if you're looking to join America's best and bravest that bring our fellow Americans home on the worst days, contact your local Air Force recruiter. You damn right. I love a shameless recruiting operation. Shameless recruiting punch right there. I love it. The comments on this are gold on this. I don't know about you, but I'm proud to be a damn American right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you're proud to be an American, hit the thumbs up. Give me a
let's go.
1 in the chat. There's a lot of people right now that are pissed off.
Yeah, I'm pissed off.
They're pissed off that this was a success.
Pissed off. Yeah.
Both crew members alive, both coming home in the middle of a war, with Iran doing everything they could to stop it. American Special Forces said, hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
They went in, got them out. That's the United States military. That's what we do.
That's the United
Drop something in the
States
comments
way.
for these crews and their families. Share this video. This story deserves to be told.
Ooh,
Hit that
right.
notification bell because we're staying on this conflict as it develops. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am proud to be a veteran of the United States military. I want to go through and see what else I can find here. We'll go through X, see what kind of stories. Let's see here. Breaking U.S. media. Currently 2 American pilots. That's old. 2 helicopters, including a Black Hawk, were reportedly hit by Iranian fire during the F-15 pilot rescue mission. You see that here, right? You see that? U.S. forces rescued there. Here we go, right here. This is part of it right here as well. This is part of the clash where the Iranians were dialing in. They were dialing in on the location of this pilot the same time that our special forces were dialing in. Somebody said they're damn proud.
I'm dialed in.
Yeah.
You guys dialed in?
Yeah. You got to be proud. You got to be proud. If you're not proud, just get the F out of here. Just
get the F out of here
right now.
Just get out.
Somebody said,
We
why did
may have
Trump get
freedom of
involved in
speech in this
Iran?
country,
So
but
that
not
pieces of crap like you can have
not
free
freedom
speech.
of fucking.
So they don't drop a nuke or a dirty bomb.
Why did Trump get involved in Iran? So that pieces of crap like you can have freedom of speech. Yeah, that's why the fucking Iranians were threatening our freedom of speech. So true, dude. The Iranians were going to come in here and take over Congress and the Senate and vote out freedom of speech from our Constitution. That was a real problem. That was a real threat, dude. And Donald Trump, thankfully, he saw that coming a mile away. He knew it was coming, and he was like, yeah, we gotta put a stop to this. So pieces of shit like them who wonder why we go to war can have freedom of speech. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Give me a break. That's some fucking, like, 2001 we're going into Afghanistan shit. That doesn't work here, bro. Fucking boomers, dude. Give me a break.
I'm on your town so that you can continue to have your miserable, shitty little life being critical of a president that's doing the damn best he can.
Yeah, he's
when
doing
all
the
these
best
other
he can.
presidents kicked the can down the road for 47 years.
All the other
That's why
presidents
President
kicked
Trump
the
got
can down the
involved.
road.
You could put your hands in your back pocket and carry your ass back to get a hot pocket or a cocoa.
Yeah, go get
Put on
your
your
fucking hot
pajamas and go to
pocket.
Walmart, you freaking loser.
Yeah,
That's
go
why you got
fucking
involved.
eat a hot pocket.
Just
Fucking
shut up, you simp.
lose.
Go
Yeah,
climb
you
back in the
fucking.
corner and watch your
Ugh.
wife get railed. You're a cuck.
Yeah, watch your
That's what
fucking
I
wife
gotta
get railed. Yeah, that's why Trump went to Iran. That's what it is. Eat a fucking hot pocket like a communist. Ugh. Hate those fucking hot pockets. Damn.
If you can't be happy right now, if you have to turn this into politics, you are a freaking loser.
Yeah, who turns a fucking war into politics? Come on. It's not like MAGA ever whined and cried when Biden got a bunch of people out of Afghanistan and saved a bunch of lives so that they didn't have to be over there fighting no more. Ain't no MAGA never complained about none of that because they're real fucking patriots, okay? They're just happy that the boys came home. That's it. They ain't turning none of that into politics. Donald Trump would never turn around and use that against Biden, make it about politics, all right? That's a fucking communist, fucking hot pocket eating motherfucker. Only they would do that.
If you got to turn this into politics right now, then you really need to rethink some things, guys.
Yeah, rethink some things.
If you want to turn a pilot being rescued, avoiding torture,
and almost dying because Donald Trump sent us the war because somebody hurt his fifis, then you really got to get your priorities figured out. All right? That's all we should be concerned with is the fact that he's alive, not with the fact that he almost died for no reason. This is not the time for that. We don't need to figure out why we ever went there in the first place. We just need to know that we're there and we're happy about it. That's the end of it. Anything else is politics.
Avoiding God knows what.
Yeah.
Into a political conversation.
Well, I think the God knows what is what the chatter was asking about. That is the avoiding God knows what. That is the kind of the question from the chatter is why the fuck are we there in the first place? Like, what is it that we're avoiding? We're avoiding hot pockets. Ain't no real man gonna eat hot pockets or shop at Walmart.
Stick your head right up your ass. because this is beyond politics right here. And I'm a salty
Beyond
submarine
politics.
guy. So if you want to get salty, we can get as salty as it goes.
I love salt.
But don't turn this into a political argument. You will lose. Because you know your oatmeal god, Biden, heals up Harris. He wouldn't have done anything. Biden did.
Biden literally pulled us out of the fucking war. Biden went and got everybody out of Afghanistan. Donald Trump, and that's a war that Donald Trump whined and cried about and promised he would pull us out of. Donald Trump promised he was going to get us out of Afghanistan. Who got us out of Afghanistan? My hero, Joe Byron. Joe Byron's not eating fucking Hot Pockets, no shot.
Didn't do anything. Obama, Barry Soetoro, he sent them $6 billion on a pallet of cash. That's why they have the capabilities that they do to even touch our American aircraft right now.
Donald Trump just offered to do the same exact thing. In the latest negotiations, Donald Trump just offered to also send money to Iran as part of the negotiations. He literally offered the same exact thing. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude?
And we got some damn Twitter star, Nick Sorter.
Some
Is there a
Twitter
source
star.
for this? Or
You
are you
want a
just sticking with
source?
trust me, bro?
Yeah.
Your whole game is trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Your whole paycheck is trust me, bro. Get out of my face. Gosh. Is there some of you people, and I don't mean all of you, the people that aren't patriots, you will never be happy.
MAGA? MAGA's the ones who aren't patriots. That's MAGA. But I'm sure that they will be happy. Ignorance is bliss, and those people never have any fucking idea what's going on. The fact that this guy just went off on this whole tangent kind of proves that ignorance is bliss. That you can just sit there and say, "Hey guys, let's just talk about the fact that the guy came home, not what put him in that situation in the first place. Let's not talk about that. No way. Let's leave that alone." Whoever would want to talk about what put him in this situation in the first place, they'll never be happy. Bro, I'm putting in fucking work.
Let's do this. Let's put a poll in the chat right here.
Bro,
Should Trump increase emissions on Iran? 91% say yes. Let's do this. This will tell us. Are you?
Well, dude, all the person did in chat, literally all they did was ask, "Why are we in Iran?" That's it. That's all they asked. And this guy is fucking soying out. That's all they did. They just asked, "Why are we in Iran in the first place?" And he just completely fucking soys out over it. Holy crap.
You happy to hear the pilot was rescued?
Bro, what, the person didn't say that they were unhappy to hear that the pilot is rescued. Nobody's unhappy that the pilot is rescued. There's nobody who's like, "I'm so mad that the pilot is rescued." There's nobody saying that shit. Who the fuck's that? This guy is just completely fucking soying out just because the person asked why we're in Iran in the first place. Holy crap.
You want to see who really hates America? Vote on this poll right here. This will tell you who hates America.
You vote on this poll right here.
This will tell you who your neighbors are.
Yeah, you can come vote on this poll.
This is more of the firefighting whenever they were closing in on where this pilot was. Look at this. So they were closing in on where the pilot was. We got another source coming out right now, Alec Lace coming in. Multiple reports claim the F-15 Wizzo has been rescued alive. Wizzo is WSO, Weapons System Officer, recovered alive, actively evading capture on the ground while Iranians hunted him like a dog in the
Like a
area.
dog.
Intense firefight reported during the rescue op. Prayers for the team and the pilot. He's also quoting Jack Murphy. According to military commentator journalist Jack Murphy, the second U.S. Air Force pilot shot down in Iran has now been rescued. No man left behind. I think I'm going to watch Top Gun tomorrow, maybe tonight.
I almost said that, dude. I almost said that as a fucking meme when I was making fun of him. I almost said, I'm a real patriot. I'm gonna go watch Top Gun tonight. This guy, dude. I'm so glad I found his channel. This guy is a fucking meme, bro. He is a fucking cartoon character. This is brilliant.
Gosh.
You want to talk about politics? I know you're going to lose that fight every time. Don't even try me there. We can get salty.
I'm going to tell you this. The pilots rescued, the people that are posting crap against this should absolutely be ridiculed.
Who is posting anything against it? Now, again, Nick Sorator is a fucking idiot. I think Nick Sorator's from the Tim Pool podcast, from what I remember. I believe. But yeah, from what I remember, he is a fucking idiot. He is just a Twitter bro who posts just absolute bullshit all the time. Just pure propaganda. But this guy isn't like actually analyzing things, or he doesn't actually care if you post sources. This guy is just mad that Nick Sorator might not suck Trump off 24/7. So
these are the same people that celebrated the president getting shot. Are you happy to hear the pilot was rescued? Over 1,000 people vote yes, 98%. 2% of you need to get the hell out of the country. Scott Freedom, you're absolutely right, brother. You are 1,000.
how do you know those 2% are even in the fucking country, dude? The 2% of them might be in fucking Iran.
Freaking percent right. Get out now.
Get out.
We do
Get out now.
Not need you.
I say the same to you, bitch. Get the fuck out. We don't need you. You are in a minority if you are okay with this war, okay? By far the majority of this country is against you, okay? So if you're in favor of this war, if you think this war is a fucking good thing, if this is something that you think is beneficial, you are in the minority. You are not an American. You are the one who needs to get the fuck out. You're the one who is happy sending a bunch of fucking people to Iran for absolutely no reason. And then you're sitting here just celebrating that they were rescued without talking about the fact that they were there in the first place for who fucking knows why. They had to put their life on the line, and 15 people have already died for who knows what reason. And you're just going to sit there and completely ignore that fact and make everything political when somebody just asks, why are we there? That's all they did, is just ask why we're there. You just completely soy out about it. But why not actually like you know, talk about, hey, it's a little fucked up that this guy had to risk his life for a scenario that none of us even know what that is. None of us have any idea why this pilot had to put his life on the line and could have been kidnapped and treated in a brutal way. None of us have any idea why that had to be the case. And it's kind of fucked up that we don't have a leader that's able to give us that information and communicate it in a way without backtracking off of it 2 minutes later. We need a real leader in the country right now. And that is the sentiment of most Americans. That is the sentiment of by far the majority of Americans. The ones who are okay with this war, the ones who are in favor of this war, and who are just going to sit there and try to find a way to defend Daddy Trump just because he decided to kill a bunch of fucking Americans again. I'm sorry, but you're the one who needs to get the fuck out. You're the one who's gonna be in the minority here, buddy.
I haven't been able to think of anything else. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I haven't either. Just the thought of a single pilot on the ground with little to nothing to defend themselves. You want to see what a pilot lands with whenever they land? Mr. Guns.
He pretends like he's so concerned for these people. This is absolute bullshit. You are not fucking concerned for these people. I don't care if you were in the military. I don't care if you were in these situations in the past. You do not give a fuck about these people. You don't give a fuck about them. If you did, you wouldn't want them to be there in the first place. Or you would at least want a legitimate reason for why they're there. I think there could be legitimate reasons for sending people over there, but I know that we haven't heard it. I know that nobody's given that to us. I know that nobody's given us that information.
And gear. I'm going to get to all the super chats, and I really appreciate it. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, a lot of the money I use from super chats and memberships here on my channel, I use to help veterans get service dogs. So if you want to join the channel as a member, there's a little barcode up there. You can scan that. This is what the down pilot, the Wizzo, was likely armed with on the ground in Iran. Mission-specific takedown AR-15 variant with a 12.5-inch 5.56 barrel, M-lock rail, QD lever, M-bus pro sights, folding grip, and 4 30-round magazines that are stored under the ejection seat. That is if that pilot had time to get this after the ejection seat landed on the ground. This is a fold-up AR-15 collapsible stock. Same thing they wouldn't allow you to have in California. With 4 30-round magazines, there's a little survival kit, couple of flares. That's it. For 48 hours, this is what you're supposed to survive on. I may or may not carry more than this in my truck. I'm sure there's some of you watching are like.
I also, to be clear, may or may not carry more than this in my truck. Just to be clear. How many of you guys in chat, one's in chat if you may or may not carry more than this in your truck?
That's it? That's all he's got? That's all she's got? Good grief, bro. And there's some people that just can't be happy.
They just can't.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm ecstatic. I want to read these comments that are posted here on Jack Murphy's tweet, X post. That's an old photo.
How
They're just trying to spread misinformation.
Jack
That's a photo from 2014. That's Jordanian, not even American. There we go. 36 hours evading capture inside Iran while Iranian forces actively search the area, firefight to bring them out. The system that absorbed 4 aircraft in one day to find one person worked. The A-10 that flew Sandy and took fire. The 2 Pave Hawks that were hit and kept flying. The PJs with the 80% washout rate who trained for exactly this moment. If you're a veteran in the chat right now, post your branch of service. If you're a family member of a veteran, post their branch of service. I'm just a dumbass submarine guy. The HC-130 flying low over Kazakhstan in the dark. Senator Duckworth said it yesterday from her own experience of going down behind enemy lines. I'm grateful for those risking their lives to look for the ones who remain missing. He is no longer missing. CENTCOM confirmation pending. But if Murphy's sourcing holds and his sourcing on special operations hold, the Wizzo is coming home. And the motto for the PJs is in Latin, but it translates to that others may live. Others may live is their motto. Roberts Ridge, you know which one I'm talking about? Medal of Honor winner that was captured on a live feed. If you're not happy about this, you're never going to be happy about anything. Your life sucks. You'll never be happy about anything. Let's grab some supers here. Based Milk, I'm former USAF. I don't know what AFE is. I'm a Navy guy. I'm sorry if I don't know what that is. Used to pack survival kits. Glad the guy made it. The SEER instructors will be proud. I'm a CTR in the Navy now. God bless you, shipmate. Praise the Lord, Henry. Thank you. $5 from Kimberly. His war is about saving the world, but communists can't see that. I believe you're right. To help get a dog. USAF rules. Thank you. Yeah, I've got about 9 or 10.
Bro, these people are so stupid, dude. Holy crap, they're so fucking sad, bro. These are the saddest people. It really is. It really is sad. Like, just the level of education in this country is in the shitter. And that is normally what happens. Somebody just like has no level of education. They're like, all right, well, I'll just go fucking to the military, which I'm glad they do. I'm glad that there's places for these people and that there's ways for them to still be able to work and make a living, and that they found buttons for them to press and crap like that. But and I'm thankful to military members and for the jobs that they do and all that. But that the idea that this is like fighting communism, do they think that fucking Iran's communist? They think Iran is a communist fucking country? This is fighting communism?
Veterans that have service dogs here in Arkansas that I help out. Proud, thank you, Jesus, for their safety. I'm not just happy, I'm freaking ecstatic. You damn right. I was saying this is the only channel I could watch because Ben does not tolerate un-American idiocy in the chat. My grandmother, rest her soul, she said if you play with shit, your hands are going to stink. And I try not to allow any shit in here. There you go. Thank you. Trent.
Bro, these people, they don't sound happy. They don't sound happy at all. This is... I don't know how this is a happy person right here. He sounds miserable. He sounds super defensive and just really upset about everything.
New member, thank you for being a member on the channel. Hound lover, support Trump 100%, been a member for 26 months. You've put up with my rants. Trump did what no one else would, would lose support. Boss move. Thanks for the amazing update, medal medalist. No one left behind. Who does it? Only America. Darkfire. God bless you. I can't say it's never happened. I can't say it'll never happen again. But when we can, we do. God bless our military. Foxy Maroon. Let me give you the boom shaka.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Don't we literally have tons of Americans that are stuck in the Middle East right now that they're refusing to help get out? Don't we have tons of military members that are stuck at bases that are getting bombed that they're going and staying in regular hotels? Don't we have tons of military members that are requesting help that would have been, like, expected from the point that we started this war? And we had no plan on helping any of them? We had absolutely no plan whatsoever. These people are brainwashed, dude.
And boom shagala.
Thank you so much. $50 super chat. God bless you. KK crazy. 28 months. Thank you, Ben, for keeping this and bringing it to us. Godspeed to our troops. Trent, God bless you. I appreciate all the support. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone that is against this is against America.
This guy's from my state. This is just how they talk here. Yeah, I'm from Georgia. We got the same thing here. I'm well aware. It's obnoxious, though.
And there's no way around this. Now, the one thing I've got to ask is, what does President Trump do next? What do you think the president does next? Do you think the president continues to lay the smackdown in Tehran? Because apparently that's what he's doing right now. President Trump canceled all of his events over the weekend. You know something serious when Trump is not at Mar-a-Lago. He stayed in the West Wing all day.
You know it's something serious when Trump is actually at the White House. You know it's serious when he's not at his vacation home for once and he's actually in the place where taxpayers pay for him to stay. And instead of him continuing to charge taxpayers for him to stay at his own house in Mar-a-Lago, that's when you know it's really serious. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck is happening, bro?
With a Marine stationed outside. That's how you know the president's in the White House. Apparently, here's a little bit more of a happy ending for this story.
Well, we start you with a new development, Tommy. The president is boasting another mass assassination of Iranian leaders who gathered together. The president posted on Truth Social. Many of Iran's leaders who have led them poorly and unwisely are terminated. He posted it with a video of an airstrike. It coincides with information from a Telegram channel that more than 50 senior Iranian officials were eliminated in a combined strike from Israeli and U.S. forces. Israel, it should be noted, denies participation in this one. The search continues.
Killed 50?
For a weapon systems operator missing from a U.S. F-18E that was shot down Friday over southwestern Iran. That pilot was rescued. The mission to rescue the pilot came under enemy fire. 2 helicopters were damaged and some crew members were injured, but they landed safely. An A-10 Warthog was hit and crashed near the Strait of Hormuz. That pilot also rescued. An anchor on state-controlled TV in Iran put out a bounty on the missing airman, encouraging people to turn him over to police.
Residents of Koji Luye in Boyer Ahmed province, dear and honorable people, if you capture the enemy pilot or pilots alive and hand them over to the police, you will receive a precious prize.
The Israeli Defense Force, meantime, released a remarkable video of a missile launcher being taken out in northwestern Iran. Israel says the strike thwarted plans to fire missiles at Israel.
Okay. Big shout out to Carl, I can't even say your name. Carl, you, Ben, you're in our prayers every day. $50 super chat on the Cash App, and then a $25 Cash App donation from Jeremy. Really appreciate that. You can donate to the Cash App. I want to think it's let me see. What did I do with that?
I'm here
crap.
to boop you, Tom.
You can buy me a coffee.
You
How about that?
can't
Buy me a
boop me,
coffee
baby
there.
girl.
There are going to be people tomorrow going to church. There are going to be people going to church on Easter Sunday in the back, cold, dark, shitty part of their heart would love for that pilot to have been captured.
What the
You
fuck
know it
is
as
he
good as I
talking
do.
about? What the fuck is this guy talking about? He is so insane. Yeah, this guy has actually lost his fucking mind.
Here we go. We got more stuff coming out here. This is I believe she was a senator, maybe a congresswoman. This was Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. We're getting more confirmation. Breaking reports here. Lots more people are reporting this. Safe rescue of the Wizzo, our profound every relief to every American. God bless this brave service member who evaded capture, most challenging circumstances. And God bless the Special Operations Forces who put their lives on the line in the dangerous rescue mission. They didn't know if they were going to find somebody that's alive and walking. It is deeply ingrained patriotic value that Americans will go to the ends of the earth and beyond and do whatever it takes, to including risking it all, to bring their fellow Americans home. Happy.
While, again, we still leave tons of Americans stranded in this very moment. This, you know, this is why they're able to be so happy all the time. This is why they can all be so happy, is that they have no actual, they have fucking no idea what's going on.
Easter. And it's the same post that we shared right here from the U.S. Air Force Spec War Recruiting. The same one that I just showed you. U.S. Air Force Spec War Recruiting. Their PJs got them. Got their man or woman.
Or woman.
Got their American.
Very inclusive. Very progressive.
How about that? At some point, there's going to be something that brings America back together. And you would think that this would be the one.
Yeah, you would think the pointless war that Donald Trump threw us into, where a bunch of people are getting killed for no reason, this would bring us all together, dude. You would think that Americans would love to hear that we're endangering other Americans' lives. This is only something that conservatives get excited about. Like when they hear about the Renee Good and Daniel Preddy. That's the stuff that excites them.
I would think that this would be the one thing that could bring Americans together. Rescuing a downed pilot. But no, some people can't do it.
I mean, again, I would say the same thing about Biden bringing all the people back from Afghanistan. I would just keep repeating that. Just, yeah, we're going to, like, same thing, bringing all the troops back from Afghanistan. You would think this would be the one thing that could bring Americans together. That we brought all of these Americans back, that we got out of the forever war that so many presidents before promised that they would do, and Joe Biden is the one who got it done.
2% in the poll. I don't understand how anyone can go against rescuing a downed pilot.
What did he say, 1%?
I don't understand how anyone can go against rescuing a downed pilot. How can you turn that political? 2% in the poll.
2% in the poll. Yeah.
I don't think you turn that political. How can you turn that into partisan?
Nobody did.
I don't get it.
Literally nobody did.
I don't know what Trump's next move is. He's given them a deadline of Monday, I believe. President Trump issues chilling 48-hour warning to Iran as the deadline looms. I say remove the deadline and do it now. Gives them a 48-hour warning to Iran as the deadline looms. All hell will rain down. Iran is Persia. If you know your Bible, you know who the Prince of Persia is. Trump says 48 hours to make a deal and open up the Strait of Hormuz. The time's running out before all hell will rain down on them. Glory to be to God, President Donald Trump. What are your thoughts on this whole dynamic, this whole
Glory
situation?
be to Donald Trump.
What does that say right there? I didn't see it. Huya PJs standing by with a large bore 4.
You didn't even clap for the cancer kid. Speaking of the cancer kid, I just saw him the other day on TikTok. A conservative guy had him on his channel, and when the conservative brought him on the channel, all of the like MAGA people in chat just started like donating insane amounts of fucking money. And the kid literally just sat there just like mean mugging the whole time and just not saying anything. So they just brought him up as a prop and just had him sit there the whole time.
And an ice cold Heineken. You damn right. You deserve our support, speaking the truth like only you do. I don't know about that, man. I'm just a dumb submarine guy. Still don't know how the hell everything's worked out the way it has. Thank you, all American soldiers, your service. We love you. God bless. Thank you for the great news. God bless our military. I'm telling you, man, this one's been weighing on me. Wind Walker can't say anything in the chat. Must be saying something stupid or anti-Israel or a racist or something, because nobody's moderating the chat. We don't do that here.
YouTube is moderating the chat.
Do the PJs carry a cold beer for the people they rescue? I believe they should. That's a great question. That's a great question. I believe that they should carry a mandatory beer. I'm looking at the hot trolls haven't got to be a true American patriot. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Let's see here. The mainstream news is so behind. That's why more people get their news from other locations. Just come in. Wow, great news. I agree. Thank you so much. It's okay to be Christian. It's okay to be pro-America. That's why they got rid of the guy in Utah at the college. That's why they got rid of him. He infiltrated their safe space, their crying closet. Mainstream.
Tom needs that cancer kid, bro. I almost called in. They were letting people call in, and every person who called in was just like glazing the kid, and then just being like, you know, what was it like to meet Donald Trump and blah blah blah. I kept thinking, bro, I so badly want to call in and be like, what was it like to be used as a prop for a bunch of fucking losers? How did it feel to allow them to use your cancer diagnosis as a prop for them as Donald Trump continues to defund everything that would actually make cancer diagnoses for children less likely? He continues to make more kids end up with cancer like this. How did that feel? I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I felt like, okay, this kid, he's probably enjoying his moment, like being on TikTok and having fun. You know, I'm not gonna do it.
Media's cooked. I agree. Thank you, Zakeda. Some Marlboro Reds and a Miller High. I'm a Miller High Life kind of guy. Mainstream media's cooked. Snake Pilskin. I'm glad you got out of New York, brother. I'm glad you got out of New York. I'm looking for more information coming across. Let's see here. GOP senators. Iran allows Iraqi ships to use the strait. Of course they did. Let's see here. Whoa, here we go. Iran going full victim mode. Iran warns of serious radiation risk after a projectile hits near nuclear power plant. I'm going to say I don't care. I really don't care if Iran has nuclear radiation problems because we dropped a warhead on them. I'm not going to be upset about that.
Wait, but I thought the Iranian people all support the United States and that they love Donald Trump, and you're saying that you're not upset that all of these people are now possibly dealing with radiation poisoning. You don't give a fuck. Huh. Interesting.
Axios, fighter jet shot down in Iran, search ongoing. Well, not any longer, losers. Not any longer. I want to see this here. I love reading the comments on Green Beret Jack Murphy's post here.
Jack Murphy said otherwise.
3.7 million views in 4 hours on this. Good old Nick Sorter. I guess he's upset he didn't break it for us, huh? Yeah, he's not a Sorter. I guess he's upset he didn't
Nick
break
Sorter. Wait. I'm trying to read
this.
Nick Sorter's.
Good old Nick Sorter. I guess he
on scene covering stories mainstream media won't. Yeah, I knew it. This guy is a fucking MAGA dude. I'm pretty sure he's normally has a picture of him on the Tim Pool show as his profile picture. So I guess maybe he changed it recently, but I thought that's who it was.
He's upset he didn't break it for us, huh? Yeah, he's not a
Happy Easter, Limescale. How's it going?
Okay. He's not really doing that, is he? See what else we got. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Somebody is.
Oh, that's right. Nick Sorter is he's the flag guy who stole somebody else's flag and then threw a fit about the fact that he got arrested for stealing from people. That's
Cooked.
right.
This is yeah. I don't know what to tell you. We've got a lot of stuff happening here at home that is not good. We've got a lot of stuff happening right here in the United States that is not good. If all of this information holds,
well, then just leave.
Then this is a massive, massive win for America. Let's grab a couple of phone calls. If anybody wants to call in, the number is 615-47.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh. Oh. That would have been fucking amazing, dude. Holy shit. Fuck. Yeah. I thought he already ended the stream, but I'm just thinking, damn, dude, if I could have found this while he was live and called in, oh man.
757-864. It's scrolling right up above my head there. We'll grab some calls and see what's going on here. What are your opinions on what should happen next? Great night to celebrate. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Thank God, had to scroll back. Wow, my troll, man, holy crap. Line 1, go right ahead, line 1. Where are you calling from?
Hey, brother, I spoke to you the other day. I'm here in Crawfordville, Florida. Windwalker.
Line 1. He literally uses the same thing as me. There is no line 1.
How are you?
Good evening, Windwalker. Thank you for calling. What would you like to say?
I don't say anything stupid in chat. I'm 100% patriot, brother. And all I said,
God
you
bless
asked
you.
what we thought, what would happen next. And I said, send Iran back to the Stone Age. And it will not let me type that to save my life.
Really? It will prevent you from typing that?
blocks me every single time.
Communist.
That's gotta be. Let's do this. If you're in the chat, if anybody's watching right now, type the word Stone Age in the chat. I would love to see Stone Age trending in the chat. That is amazing that it will not let you to do that, but I'm hoping that it'll work. I'm going to see if it'll allow me. Somebody said Stone Age right. I'm going to type Stone Age right there. Windwalker, thank you for calling, brother. God bless you. God bless you. Stone Age is trending in the chat right now. Let's see here. Just want to say thank you for your service. I didn't do a whole lot. I had a great career. Could have been better if I wouldn't have.
How much the Bulwark thing? What Bulwark? It depends which thing. The follow-up to what? Follow up with Tim Miller and his co-host in content suggestions. Okay, well, I can't pull up my Discord right now, so I need more information than that. About Hassan? That's what I was assuming.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark here with our publisher, Sarah Longwell. She has a book coming out. I don't know if you heard about that. I wanted to talk about an article that our colleague Lauren Egan wrote with, behind her back a little bit. So you guys can alert her to it if you want. It's called How Big is the Democrats' Big Tent? And it's centered around this question of the streamer Hassan Piker, who is on the far left. Is he even a Democrat? I think is the question. He's one of DSA. He has a lot of critiques of the Democratic Party that come from the left part of the coalition. His critiques of the party are particularly acute when it comes to Israel and their actions in Gaza and our broader military involvement around the world. And the question is, there were some Democrats who are saying that Democratic strategists and commentators were saying that the party shouldn't associate with Piker because he has some extreme views. We can debate the extent of this, but he said some things that are either anti-Semitic or anti-Semitic curious or adjacent, and the questions are whether people should deal with it. So I think that I went long on this topic on the stream last night. For you to be like, now we as the centrist establishment serious types want to exile a far leftist from here because he has some impure thoughts about Israel. It's like all you're doing is making him more powerful. all you're doing is making people think you're a bigger idiot. To pick right now to have this fight. And it is truly, it's like madness. Like the entire country is moving the other direction. We can just be honest. It's moving Hassan's direction.
Again, I kind of agree with like the optics of it. I do think that like people, you know, Hassan and his ilk ought to be ostracized to an extent, but I don't know that like making it about Israel would be the thing to do it on. I don't know that that should be the angle as much. I think, yeah, if you made it more about, you know, communism or like his support for more extreme regimes or you know, things like that, I think would be more fruitful, but making it about Israel right now is just not a good look. But I think that should have been probably what Tim did. I think that Tim probably should have made it more about those things and said, like, yeah, like, we should ostracize Hassan, just, you know, because of these other extreme issues. Why do you want to get along with anti-Semites? I'm not saying I want to get along with anti-Semites. I didn't say anything like that. I literally said we should ostracize them.
On the question of Israel, and you're like, we're going to pick a fight with him on that? Right now? I don't get it. We did this already 5 years ago where a bunch of liberals were like, you can't go on Joe Rogan. He had some bad opinions. I was just like, we can't do this shit again. So people can go if they want to hear my full sermon. I did, I think, 20 minutes on this topic last night because it's complicated. And I just want to kind of break this down. Sarah saw all of that, some of that? Some of it?
I saw the whole thing. I watched the whole thing.
Okay, Sarah watched the whole thing. Wow, JVL's going to be jealous. Sarah watched the whole thing, my whole long sermon. And so I just want to set this up. I just kind of want to break it down. There are a bunch of sub-elements to this, right? Like, which is, do I agree with Hassan Piker's politics? Like, I do not. And I went through some of those disagreements. Should people go on Hassan Piker's show? I think, yes, we can talk about that. Should Democrats campaign with him? Like, there are differing views on that. Should there be a litmus test somewhere in the party? Like, where should the Democrats draw the line in their...
Yeah, I also think the, like, don't go on his show bullshit is kind of fucked up. I think that that's a really stupid thing to say. I think that's always going to be a really dumb line to draw.
Big tent, like, should the tent encompass the entire country, or, you know, should there be polls that people, if people fall outside those, they shouldn't fit inside the tent? So, like, those are kind of, you know, I think sometimes the conversation, like, all that stuff gets jumbled up into one thing, and, you know, my views are different on different sort of sub bullets. So I just kind of wanted to start there. You watched my whole thing. On which one of those elements do you feel like your disagreement is with me?
So I think I want to start with kind of Hassan Piker, the guy, the stuff he says, and like, who is he? Because to evaluate him is then to evaluate the rest of your questions, right?
Okay,
is
fair.
Should he be in the tent or out of the tent is a question of like, okay, who is this guy? What does he believe? What does he talk about?
Yes. So this is I'm glad she's starting off with it this way. This is exactly how I would say it. Is that, like, the question isn't about, like, whether or not we should make this about Israel. It's about whether or not he should be in the tent. Like, that's the part that we should be in agreement on. And then that should be based on, yes, who he is, how, like, the extreme beliefs that he has, the type of community that he congregates, the types of things that he pushes for, the way that he pushes against Democrats and seems to be a counter signal to Democrats getting elected. That, like, these things are the things that would say, yeah, somebody like Hassan should not be accepted. The tent should not be that big, but probably shouldn't make it about Israel.
On what is a relatively popular streaming site. And I'll just give you a flavor of some of the things that pop up from Hassan's critics that I have seen and that I think are quite terrible. So America deserved 9/11, dude. On China, he says, we hyper-focus on the social repression or the civil liberties, or not even civil liberties necessarily, but free speech and things like that. But in terms of good governance, there's a lot we can learn from the way they perform out there. At least they get results. And he has a lot of very pro-China takes. There's one that he says was a little bit taken out of context, but he says, doesn't matter if the fucking rapes happened on October 7th.
That one is very taken out of context. It's not a little bit taken out of context. That one is very taken out of context, just to be clear. He's literally saying the opposite there. He is agreeing that rapes happened and saying, like, they did happen. There is evidence for these. It doesn't change whether or not we're against the genocide in Palestine. That doesn't change anything for us. But everybody took it to mean he was saying, I don't care if they're raping people. I'm still in favor of Hamas. Like, that's how people took it, and that's not at all what he was saying. So this was very, very out of context.
Changed the dynamic for me even this much. So that's the other part of this problem that many people can't contend with. Like, the Palestinian resistance is not perfect. They're not like so good. They have magical bullets. I don't know what that means. He says Hamas is 1,000 times better than Israel. On Hezbollah, he said, overall, what's my favorite flag? Hezbollah. Look it up. I'm not even kidding. It's actually a dope flag. It's got an AK on it and a fucking hand holding it up. On Dan Crenshaw losing an eye in Afghanistan. What the fuck is wrong with this dude? I also dislike Dan Crenshaw, but I would not say this. Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because of some mujahideen, a brave fucking soldier, fucked his eye hole with their dick? On Israel being full of inbreds. You are left with a country that is packed to the fucking gills with the most inbred, uneducated, ultra-nationalist, rabid, Haredi population. On Russia's annexation of Crimea. Annexation of Crimea was absolutely a justifiable annexation. What do you call Crimea? I call it part of Russian territory, bitch. I call it Crimea River, a Russian river. The annexation of Crimea was absolutely a justifiable annexation. On black people. Black people care about the border. I don't give a fuck what black people care about. Black people care about this. Black people care about that. Like, shut the fuck up. That's not how.
Okay, that's actually a base take. Not gonna lie, that's actually a base take. That is, it's actually a base take. This is a thing that a lot of people do where they try to say like, oh, well, you should care about this because black people care about this. And it's like, I don't give a fuck what black people care about. Fuck black people. Like, why would I care? Why would I change my politics or what I believe in just because black people care about a thing? It's so stupid. And it's like a weaponization of race in a way that's so fucking stupid. It really is. And that is what that quote was from, is somebody in his chat saying like, well, I'm a black person and you don't care about this and you should, black people care about it. He's like, fuck that. I don't care what black people care about. Like, that was actually a base take. She's doing great marketing for him, to be honest. I mean, I think that one take, sure, maybe. Outside of that, the rest of them were kind of fucked. When he's saying like, you know, complimenting the brave mujahideen.
How politics work. And then I don't know if this is I don't know how to, I'm not going to rank these, but this one's a real doozy. Date rape is better if it happens to rich women. If you have these fucking millionaire, billionaire WASP fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do date rape to other billionaire, millionaire failed daughters is in some respects, you know, from a utilitarian perspective, of course, a little bit better. Okay, Piker told off a listener who condemned the massacre on October 7th, a bloodthirsty, violent pig dog suck my dick. Okay, so that's the guy. That's the guy. I do not think any Democrat should look to include him in their coalition. And here's the thing. You mentioned my book at the top.
All out of
I just wrote a
context.
whole
Yeah,
book
yeah.
that is going to come out in September. It is 300 pages. It's called How to Eat an Elephant One Voter at a Time. It is 300 pages about how you build a winning coalition. There's not a single paragraph that recommends cozying up to people like Hassan Piker. I talk a lot about big tents. I talk a lot about a pro-democracy coalition. But here's the thing. Hassan Piker doesn't actually belong in the pro-democracy coalition. He's an illiberal guy. He's a China-Russia sympathizer who hates women, hates Israel. Like, he's all the toxic things. And I think, and I was listening to you last night, and I was like, my biggest problem with it, because I agree with you in some places, my biggest problem with it is I felt like you were soft selling who this guy is. Like, at one point, I think you called it like impure thoughts or something.
Well, this is one of my defenses of Piker, which is also a defense of myself, is that if you're streaming 8 hours a day, like, I feel like the critics that sometimes like look at an 8-word snippet of something somebody says, I'm like, you fucking talk for 8 hours a day. I just talked for 1 hour a day last night, and I rewatched that video and saw impure thoughts, and that's not what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that, you just talk for a long time, and
but you don't you don't accidentally say America deserved 9/11.
No. He had some very bad takes in there too. He had he has some really bad ones for sure.
Can I push back on this idea though? They're not takes. Like, this guy has a worldview that I think is anathema to liberal democracy. It's not that we just disagree with his politics. I think his worldview is gross, and the way he talks about people is disgusting. And so, like, I think he is all of the things that I think you were being too hard on sort of the third way types who are condemning him, because he is condemnable. And I think it is important. You and I spent a long time when I was on your podcast trying to take our long-time reflexive pro-Israel stances and kind of wrestle with that now in this new world. And I'm up for wrestling with that. And one of the things that is scary about wrestling with that is that there's a bunch of people on the I'm against this war, I'm against Israel's involvement in this war, who do it for anti-Semitic reasons. And I think disaggregating from those people as you criticize this war is absolutely essential from a moral standpoint.
This is, I think, this I think is the crux of the deal, because as I said last night, I argued with Hassan about China on and off stage. Like, I argued with Hassan about his focus on Israel on stage. And I think that he is a liberal, and I think that if Hassan was running for Congress or president,
you think he is illiberal?
Illiberal, I do, and I think that if he was running for one of those things, I would oppose him.
I was like, what?
And I think that probably, I think it's very unlikely that me and Hassan will have the same preferred candidates in the Democratic 2028 campaign. If we do, that candidate will end up being very adept at navigating our very fracture. So who the hell knows what the future holds? But like, I don't like it. I don't like his worldview, and I think that it is worth objecting to. And I think it's worth people like us objecting to and hashing it out and fighting with him about it and arguing about a lot of the things that he thinks that are bad. I also just think that, two things. One, people that consume him hear that list and are like, that doesn't mesh with the guy I know, right? And I think that if you came up with my 10 worst takes, they would not sound as bad as his list, or anywhere near as bad, I don't think. But especially if you go back to 2004, I have some pretty bad takes going all the way back, okay? So I just mean, if you put my list together, I think a lot of Bulwark people would be like, guy, like, you're being unfair, right? And because I think that there are a lot of areas where he is genuine, that he cares about stuff, human rights. And again, I don't watch this on day to day, but I hearing this from other people, I think they would say, wait a minute, you're trying to turn.
He's doing the PF Young thing. He's doing the PF Young thing where it's like, but he's right about some things. Like, there's some things that we can agree with Hassan on. And so I don't know that he is completely condemnable. Sometimes Hassan says that we should drink water, and in that case, I don't agree with everything he says, but I agree that, like, we should probably drink water sometimes, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Turn him into like Tucker or somebody whose whole show is about anti-Semitism right now, but like he talks a lot about making sure people can get a living wage and human rights around the world and how we should care about rights for people.
So does Tucker.
Okay,
Like,
okay, fine. So anyway, I'm just telling you what people would say about him. I think that I do think that it is a category difference. A lot of people who are criticizing me about the stream last night were trying to lump it in with like, I thought you left Trump. And I was like, no, Trump had a lot of noxious views, and then he ran for president, tripling down on them and being like, hey, here are all my worst views. And like, I think that we should institute them as policy. Some of the things you laid out, I think Hassan would agree with. Some of those things, if you read the profiles of him, he's backed off on, particularly.
No, he says he does not apologize for any of them. He was just taken out of context. He's like,
Yeah, even for the, like, he still says America deserved 9/11. Like, that is a thing that he still says to this day. Now, he was made to apologize for the America deserved 9/11 thing on TYT. Cenk Uygur made him apologize for it on TV, and he was like a fucking baby. It was actually like embarrassing to watch him on TYT, just like, oh, this is so stupid. I don't want, this is so dumb, man. Why don't my hearers? It's not fair. Like, truly, I'm not, like, that's what he was acting like the whole fucking time. It was absolutely embarrassing to watch him go and do this, like, apology video with Cenk Uygur. And he did, you know, he did his apology and said like, oh, that's not what I meant, blah, blah, blah. But since then has continued to double down on it on Twitch. And there's even, there was a recent video of him with a bunch of other leftists where they all said like, yeah, dude, I remember when you said America deserved 9/11. Like, that was such a base take. And they were like, let's all say it together. And they all, you know, 1, 2, 3, America deserved 9/11. Let's go. And like, he writes America deserved 9/11 on people's shirts. And it is just, this is not like a thing that he's apologized for in reality or backed off of. It's not something that he disagrees with. It's, this is his position. So.
I don't take any of them back. I don't walk any of them back, but maybe they were taken out of context.
Okay, well, maybe. I'd have to listen to that.
Is he anti-Israel? Yeah, he's very anti-Israel, yeah.
I guess I just would say that holistically, it is a category difference for me that Trump, from what you hear from MAGA. All of that aside, though, because, you know, we can take the measure of the man, and you can decide that he's a wholly unacceptable man, and I can say that he's a man that has some bad views, and we could hash that out. The strategic question, the analytical question, right?
Yep.
Is how Democrats should handle somebody like that. Yep. And like, this is where I'm the harshest on the view that he should be kicked out. And I'm particularly harsh, and I said this last night, and this relates to your point about Israel, about like picking this fight with him right now, like at this moment today, April 3rd of 2026. Because right now we are embroiled in a catastrophic war that the Secretary of State said we did because Israel got us into it. So like, you can call that a conspiracy theory or whatever, but like, the Secretary of State said it, and the president has basically said it, though he does word salad a bunch of times. And I just think that any fair analyst could look at it and say, well, obviously, like, this war is more in Israel's acute interest than ours. Like, that's just a statement of fact, right? So like, we're in this war with our partner Israel right now on the heels of
a guy at the top in the purple is in first place. His name is Not Good, Just Lucky. I would love to be around that motherfucker when he dies.
Of their behavior in Gaza, however you want to describe that, whether it's genocide or ethnic cleansing or war crimes or just more killing than was necessary, like, anywhere on that continuum. Like, this comes after that. Now we've partnered with them for a war in Iran that is going to create massive damage globally to people's lives. Like, people are going to be materially harmed by this war. They already are. And there are a lot of people out there in this country right now who are really mad about that. And they're about to get really madder in the coming months. And I think a lot of them look at they blame Trump, but they also look at the Democratic Party and be like, you guys have been on this too. Joe Biden was in there when Israel was doing the Gaza thing. The Democrats have been, part of this bipartisan establishment that got us into these stupid wars forever. And they look around for people, and who do they see out there saying, no, we should not do these wars. They're stupid. They're wrong. They see people like Hassan. And so in this moment where people are very bad, a lot of voters that when you say how to eat an elephant one at a time, a lot of voters Democrats are going to need, who, whether they be young voters or men who don't want to go to war or people whose costs are going to go up. Like right now, at this moment, a lot of them are assessing the landscape and they're saying like, fuck, Trump betrayed me. Like I thought I was on board with the no wars candidate. Okay. And they're gettable right now. As ripe as they have ever been to be gotten by the Democratic Party. And in this moment, the Democratic Party and their leaders should be focused, in my view, on being as clear and loud and passionate as possible. No stupid wars. I will not get you involved in this. This is a mistake. To the extent that Israel is involved, the fact that our relationship is closely tied to them is a mistake. And if we ever get back in power, we will not betray you. We hear you. We see this. And instead, you hear
Biden is so underappreciated. It's insane. It is insane. It is truly insane. Absolutely fucking bonkers. The way that people have twisted Biden in their brains.
a lot of Democratic leaders being like, well, we should kick this guy out. That's what he's known for. Like if he's known for anything, it's being anti this stuff. And it's like, what? We're picking this fight with him now? I'm just like, I could think of 1,000 other things I would rather Democrats pick fights about now. Like, why him right now?
Because he's making their life harder. It is people like Hassan
They're making their life harder.
Hold on. People like Hassan are making Democrats who want to take a stand against this war, right? And who want to probably take a stand against the way that Trump is just sort of like, doing whatever Bibi tells him. They're trying to figure out how to do it in a way where they don't imperil the safety of Jewish people in this country. They're trying to do it in a way that they don't want to be anti-Semitic. And I'll tell you why Hassan is so dangerous is that what it does is it's exactly what Trump does. It's exactly what Nick Fuentes does and Tucker does. It takes maybe legitimate rage about something, and then it gives them an enemy to put it on. It gives them an out group to blame for it.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to run to the potty, and I will be right back.
And I think you have to be so careful with that so that you're not doing that, which starts with condemning the people who hold the same position as you for reasons that are bad, for reasons that are hostile to Jews.
Here's where I disagree. Totally disagree. It starts with condemning the fucking war and condemning Israel and condemning Bibi and condemning Trump and being passionate and clear about it. Because then what happens? Then, if you have the credibility then with the voters who were anti-war voters, who were unhappy about the way that they see the bipartisan establishment, and they thought Trump was going to be their savior from this, that there was some blob in DC, and no matter which party is in charge, we all get into stupid wars. They thought Trump was their way out of this. And now they're like, Trump's doing the same shit that all the other ones did that we said we didn't want it. He's doing it worse. And so now if the Democrats go to those people and go on those shows, they should be on those shows. Democrats should be begging Joe Rogan or Theo, whoever, to have them on right now. They should be on Manosphere shows being like, I told you, this was stupid. I didn't want to do this. This war is dumb. Our relationship with Israel is too tight. We should be reevaluating it. We should not be getting dog walked into this war. By the way, MBS also sucks, right? Like you can do that in a way that's not anti-Semitic because it's what has happened. Like it's happened. And so if they did that, and then in 5 months, they're like, you know what? Okay, look at this though. Like you guys, we cannot, be shoulder to shoulder with somebody as this viewer or that viewer. We have to then you have the credibility.
Why is there a 5-month gap? Why can't it be in the same breath? I think it should, because here's the point. I do agree with you that nature abhors a vacuum, right? Like part of what is happening is that there is a desperate anger over this war from a lot of people that feel betrayed by Donald Trump, that don't want any more foreign wars in the Middle East. And like it's not about Israel. Like for some, for some people it is about Israel. For some people it is about anti-Semitism. Those are different. And then there's just a lot. I think the vast majority of people are just mad we're doing this again. And so like Democrats should be condemning it. They should be outspoken. They should be the one to try to gain a following by talking about this. But I think in doing so, they should separate themselves from people like Hassan. I don't think you have to wrap your arms around him. I don't think,
he has credibility and they don't on this though. And
so they should go get credibility themselves.
Exacerbating.
They don't need to borrow it from him.
I'm not telling you. I'm not saying they should run for it. I never said. Here's the disagreement. I never said I think Democrats should campaign with him. I disagree with that.
I don't think they should go on his show.
I think you don't think they should go on his show.
Hassan's? No.
Oh my God, that we could not disagree more. Oh my God, the people that watch Hassan's show are not terrible. The regular people, a lot of people they're gonna watch this video, watch Hassan's show. I hear from them. I saw them on the street. The idea,
I know.
This is like the same shit we just did with Joe Rogan. It's like Democrats should.
Yeah, that's a bad take. That's a bad take from her, saying that they shouldn't even go on his show. That's fucking stupid. That's insane.
Go on, Joe Rogan has terrible fucking views. They have to speak to those people. Those are the people that they have to speak to. Why wouldn't they do that? Like right now, especially right now when they're the most gettable.
Let's say so Nick Fuentes is out there saying we should vote for Democrats because Trump is doing this for Israel. Think Democrats should go on Nick Fuentes' show? I don't.
Well, Nick Fuentes is full of shit is the thing. I mean, I don't think they should go on a show, but not really so much because he's an anti-Semite. I don't think they should go on a show because he's he's a troll. He's just a troll. Hassan really believes what he believes. You can say his beliefs are bad or wrong or shameful or should be condemned, and you could go on a show and fight him about it. But Hassan is not out there doing jokes about ovens and the Jew. There might not have been that many people killed in the Holocaust. Doing trolling. What does Nick Fuentes even believe? Does anybody even know? Does he even know? I don't think he even knows what he believes anymore. He's just full of shit.
Yeah, his son's just saying America deserved 9/11. That's all.
It's like a variety show. Hassan has passionate left-wing views, and they should be grappled with, I think.
Who says that 9/11 was America's fault and that I don't think this is a serious person. This is part of my problem. Now, and I'm going to both state a problem, and then I think one of the ways in which strategically this is bad. Nick Fuentes and Hassan Piker are both being elevated in the discourse because there's a Streisand effect happening. This I do write about in the book, the Streisand effect that makes these people more powerful, that gives these people a bigger platform, where whether it is the earnestness of Hassan or the nihilism of Fuentes, right? People are kind of there for that experience, and it raises their curiosity. This happened with Andrew Tate. There is just a series of people where the outrage against them is making them more powerful. That being said, understanding that dynamic doesn't mean that there's just sort of a right is still right and wrong is still wrong. I do think Hassan, but I felt this way about Mamdani.
No, it's on my show. Does that just make you uncomfortable? The phrase globalized intifada, from the river to the sea?
To me, ultimately, what I hear in so many is a desperate desire for equality and equal rights in standing up for Palestinian human rights. And I think what's difficult also is that the very word has been used by the Holocaust Museum when translating the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising into Arabic, because it's a word that means struggle.
Sure.
And as a Muslim man who grew up post 9/11, I'm all too familiar in the way in which Arabic words can be twisted, can be distorted, can be used to justify any kind of meaning.
Yep.
And I think that's where it leaves me with a sense that what we need to do is focus on keeping Jewish New Yorkers safe, and the question of the permissibility of language is something that I haven't ventured into.
It's I just feel like the phrase globalized intifada is not something people should use, because even if you don't intend it to be that way, it is heard by Jewish people as kill us everywhere. And so that should be condemned. And then I asked him if he would condemn anyone on the show.
But I think trying not to elevate these people in the discourse, or us being clear that they are malign actors. We can wrestle with what they say. And actually, I want to say something, because I'm not sure if we've talked about this before. I was also on a panel with him, and I didn't know who he was going into it. This is actually the embarrassing part of this is that I don't really know. I don't follow who the Twitch streamers are. And I hadn't really heard of him. Or if I had, I hadn't bothered to figure out who he was. And when he started talking, the first things out of his mouth were ridiculous, and they were attacks on Bill.
He was wrong. Jihad means struggle, not intifada. Oh, you're saying Intifada doesn't mean struggle. Jihad does. Yes, I know jihad does. Intifada means to shake off. Is it? Intifada in Arabic is an Arabic word meaning shake off or uprising, commonly referring to periods of intense Palestinian protests and resistance against Israeli occupation. Signifies a revolt or rebellion, most notably the first Intifada, featuring civil disobedience and riots, and the second Intifada, which was marked by significant violence and terrorism. Okay. All right, I gotta head out. I wish I'd saved this for the next show because I want to watch the whole thing. So we might just start it over on the next show and watch from the beginning. But yeah, I gotta head out now. So I had said earlier that we were gonna go and try to find all the clips of Trump where he's kind of contradicting himself and making a bunch of different claims about the war and then making a different one the next day. We didn't get to that today, so do me a favor, if you guys have any clips that you think that I should use, post those in the Discord under content suggestions and just put like clip, put the word clip above it, and I'll know to, if you have a timestamp in there as well, make sure you put it in there too. But if you quit Stream Your Game, well, if you didn't donate tons of money to me today to keep me on stream, then your game. So but yeah, is the Discord cool? Some people are cool. It's we have a larger mix of right-wingers in there right now that makes it to where lefties don't come in, but because lefties don't come in, we never actually end up having a growing group of lefties. So you gotta come in and just find it out in order for that to be the case at some point. Otherwise, it'll always stay the same. But yeah, I'll be back on. It's like half and half right now, probably. But all right, I'll be back on tomorrow. Till then, do me a favor, hang out for just a minute, leave a comment on the stream, helps push us in the algorithm, and makes it to where a lot more people find the channel. See you later tomorrow. Later, fools.